See,
Wendy Bell Radio is live.
See, that's crap. I'm so on you, and everybody knows what you do.
What?
You sit there and you wait for me to start to smile, and then you say it like a jerk. That's what a jerk does.
Wow, it's Monday at noon.
Who got peach pie for breakfast?
Wendy did.
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm. And
there will not be a pet show this weekend. I have to cancel the pet show this
weekend. Somebody's got a home improvement project.
Yes.
Someone's putting on a new back patio, new deck. Let's see what's going on at my house.
It's not new. It's the other one's falling apart. So
I'm not so sure I'll be able to show you guys what's going on in my house.
I heard it this morning and saw it.
6:45. And Murphy's like, ooh.
He scared me.
And I was like, oh, snap. And so I had to move 4 cars with a bunch of dudes trying to tell me how to do it. I'm like, first of all, I need all of you guys to step back. Let me do my job.
Have you seen women drive? Step back.
Let me do my job. I've got a stick shift. I've got 3 automatics, all of which could kill you. So move aside. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. I'll give you a live picture of the backyard. It looks fantastic. So, the construction equipment, that's from our builder. And then all of the things on the ground in front of it, those are the old shingles. Nice. Nice. I have all sorts of Amish dudes at my house from Ireland contracting right now. These guys are like cats. Have you seen the Amish walk on beams? It's ridiculous.
They walk on beams like I walk on the street.
It's ridiculous. And they're so weird and fabulous. I'm like, they're so fascinating. It's like our friend Diane, because there are a lot of Amish who would go see Dr. Simkovich. They get injured, things happen. They go to the guy that fixes them. And so she would see all of these people, right? And she loved them. And now they're working on my house. So I love that. Anyway, hello, Steel Toe Morning Show. Hi. I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for rating our fabulosity. It's good to be with you guys. So I'm super what, huh?
So how long are they giving you a guesstimate of the roof?
No idea.
All right. So
I have no idea.
I'm going to say by Thursday it's done.
All right. Who wants to take? All right, let's go.
Over under Thursday, depending on if there's rain.
So what happens to the guys who were working on the backyard?
See, this is why they didn't show today. You see all the shingles?
No, I know. But how's that going to be different tomorrow?
They'll have that whole roof off today. All the shingles will be off today. Guaranteed.
This is where we have some monsoon storm rolling.
Don't worry. They'll tarp it. That's what they do.
Okay.
If need be, before they leave, they'll probably
Gary Ireland shows up. Literally, I'm wearing jammies. I'm wearing my Clemson jammies. I'm like, the only thing I wasn't wearing is braces with a headgear. That's as good as I look.
And then she said, oh, you're going to be over by the skylight? Let me go jump in the shower.
So there's Gary Ireland, who's so handsome. And he's standing there. He's all fit and trim and handsome and ready to go, overseeing everything. And there's me like, and I'm moving all these cars. And Gary just stands there. And I walked up to him and I put my arms around him and he put his arms on top of me. And he just held me for like 30 seconds. It was probably 5. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he's like, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. And I'm like, it's freaking fantastic, Gary.
You're worrying about something you can't control.
I'm worried about the cost of it. Shut up.
You can't control that.
I know. I can worry about it. Anywho, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, Ireland contracting.
I'm saying by Thursday. I should text Gary, be like,
when is it?
Give me the inside scoop.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't lie. But he came back from Deep Creek, Maryland. He said he and Diane were having a long weekend there, and they decided he cut it short to be at my house this morning at 7:00 to see me go out and move on my cars. All right.
The boys weren't gone yet?
No, it was 6:30.
Oh,
it was 6:30
I
in the
don't
morning.
know. Murphy started barking.
I'm like,
and I jumped 6 miles away because he never really barks like that. Like that was
Yeah.
it's like he was scared and yelling about it.
It
He
was
made me pee a little. I had to
little
go to the
bit.
bathroom.
A little bit, yeah. So, anywho, it's going to be fun. Murtag, hey, rated the stream. I'm so glad you did. Thank you for sharing us with your people. Look at this 2,100 people breaking the
Well, their
internet.
people should rumble.
Yeah, hit the rumble button. That's that thumbs up button underneath me. If you would do that and then hit the follow button, we don't bother you. It's worth it. How you doing?
We're
I'll
a
make
little
it
over
worth
10,000 away from 100,000 followers. So get on it, people. You people.
I love you guys. It's good to be with you. Thank you for being here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Happy Monday to all of you. Greetings across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program, where we celebrate being common sense conservatives who can sniff through all the garbage. And every day we celebrate living in the best place on planet Earth, period. You know, it's almost like there's nothing to talk about today. What a shame. What a shame to wake up on Sunday morning and to hear about another person radicalized, groomed, prepped to go take matters into his own hands. What is going on? Well, you know what is going on. And so do I. And today we're going to dig into it. Lots actually to talk about today. If you're new to the program, I'm delighted you're here. WendyBellRadio.com is how you follow along the live video stream. You can join our group. We call it the Army, Wendy Bell Radio Army. Join in the chat. And our podcast, Wendy Bell Radio, as well, as we inch closer to 8 million podcast downloads. I'm delighted to spend 3 hours today with you. Thank you for being here and welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, there's something very peculiar in this world, and it would be a very timely case study. There would be no shortage of potential subjects who could get involved in some kind of research on this, because I think there is something more than just grooming and indoctrination that goes into creating a clone trooper. And a clone trooper is somebody who's willing to shut down whatever common sense they have, whatever personal decision-making they've used all their lives and have done quite well with, to just shut it down and follow the lunatic ravings of somebody else, telling them what to do, what to feel, what to say, how to act, how to vote. Because I don't understand how we can have very intelligent people in this country and have a big problem with reality. I see very clearly what's going on. President Trump is the great disruptor. He's disrupted everything. They thought they had him. They thought they took him out. They hatched something back in 2017 in the Oval Office, right? Didn't work. So they impeached him. Didn't work. They created information. Didn't work. They wiretapped him. Didn't work. How many times have they tried to take him out? How many lies have they spread about him? How many people out there who are on television today saying, oh, I can't believe another attempt on the president's life? And you're like, yeah, duh. It's because of you. It's because of the suck media. It's because of Democrats whose party sold them out so long ago, who don't either care or aren't aware of it. It's all of these voices on the left. And anybody who wants to say there's violence on both sides, really? Do you guys want to know what the freaking Oath Keepers, what they were all about? What about the Proud Boys? Are these extreme people who go out and hunt and kill their opponents? No. No. You know what they do? They believe that when they put up their hand and the other's on the Bible and they swear an oath, whether it be to the Constitution, to themselves, to their families, that it's an oath that doesn't stop once the paycheck stops rolling in. So when they're done in the military or they're done in law enforcement or what have you, those men step forward to continue that oath to protect and serve. And they protected military funerals. And they've gone to all sorts of monuments. They've gone to all of those statues that were racist, that these whack job liberal weirdos demanded needed to be erased so this new narrative could come in. And there's one guy who's like, no, absolutely not. No. And that's a big fat no. And it's not open for debate. And so Donald Trump came in like a bull in the china shop, and he absolutely bulldozed all of the things that these people have been doing for years and getting away with. Ilhan Omar and her surprising $30 million net worth explosion is just one tiny cog in this machine of people who've gotten away with so much, who've lied to you, and who need you angry and addicted and pissed at the world so that they can continue doing what they're doing. And then came the great disruptor down the freaking escalator, stairs, and they all made fun of him. Oh, look at this loser. He's going to be president, right? And then you and I were like, pal, this is our chance. This guy says what we feel. This guy's got the stones to pull it off. He's got the bankroll to not care what they do to him. He's got it all. And we were like, yes. And they hate us for it. This dude who decided to travel across the country on a train with weapons in his bag and was able to make it with multiple guns, multiple knives across the entire continental United States to get to Washington freaking D.C. to spoil the White House Correspondents' Dinner and ostensibly try to get some shots off, I would imagine, at President Trump. But if you could take out a couple other people, what the hell? What this does to us, you guys, is expose the degree to which the left has lost its collective mind. And we heard it from Karine Jean-Pierre when she was that White House press babe for a hot second of suck. She said it all the time. Joe Biden used his time all the time to call Donald Trump an extreme threat to democracy. And it grew. And it grew. Then he was a rapist. It wasn't just E. Jean Carroll he couldn't keep his hands off of, even though he's married to a freaking supermodel. I have to have her in a department store. It's been so freaking stupid. And I'm sure if you're on the left, you feel very dejected. Because we laugh at you, but now you've gotten things to a dangerous degree. You know what Republicans don't do? We don't go around shooting people we disagree with. You created this mess on the left, mainstream media. You created it, Jake freaking Tapper, you smug schmuck, who then tried to sell a book, and he peddled that freaking book for a month about his surprise about Joe Biden's cognitive decline, even though you and I were like, dude, guy's a freaking marshmallow. What happened? What's going on? And Jake Tapper had no idea for 4 years. But if you buy his book, he's got all sorts of neat secrets in there. Are you kidding me? The thing I find so curious about this whole event is now a third attempt on President Trump's life. It's so curious that the security seems very similar to what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania in July of 2020. What was it, 4? When Thomas Crooks took those shots. The same sort of feeling from the people who attended that White House Correspondents' Dinner. I felt that day, that hot surface of the sun, summer day, everything was wrong. You could cut it with a knife. And the people at that dinner, several of them experienced the same feeling. So who is it that wants this president to die? Is it the left? Is it the right? And to what end? And in what world did it make any sense to anybody to have almost the entire line of succession to the presidency in one room with 2,600 people, all of the media? You have Hegseth, you have Rubio, you have J.D. Vance, the president, the first lady. Who else? You had Bessent, you had Scott Bessent, you had Speaker Johnson. This was like ultimate survivor, right? The lone survivor, who's the one that squirreled off away in a bunker somewhere when everybody else is together for the State of the Union. How did this one whack job teacher, who was clearly a product of the indoctrination system that he no doubt was teaching to his students, how on earth does that guy get into a building where all of these people are at the same time? And God bless President Trump for saying the Secret Service were the heroes. Heroes? Or is it supposed to be this porous, the security around President Trump? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all of it. I have no interest in this guy. I have no interest in his stupid diary, which now we call a manifesto, because make no mistake, glorifying that schmuck is going to give birth to how many others who dream of being a hero to the left. What a sad, sad day for the Democratic Party. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, President Trump, the moment he could have blamed the media for creating the narrative that he's a fascist, that he's a rapist, that he's a pedophile, that he's a clear and present danger, he didn't take it. He provided grace and calm and positivity under pressure. I voted for that. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It was a kind of a dumb decision. Let's have everybody in the world in this one room. It's sort of like all the mullahs and the Ayatollah and all of his goofball guys. All right, they're never going to strike us in the morning on a Monday, right? Let's all have breakfast together. It'll be super. Okay, that wasn't complicated. I mean, if this goofball, teacher guy could make it into this hotel and then navigate a stairwell down to the main area, and there's not some armed guy, there's not some, I don't know, military guy wearing full everything ready to kill anyone coming into the, right? Now, there was nobody there. What? I got questions, guys, but I do have questions about this, or if you do have questions about how you can get quality health insurance. So not sexy. It's not it's so necessary. And for a lot of people, they're like, it's just too damn expensive. Thanks, Barack Obama. The Affordable Care Act wasn't affordable, and it really doesn't give you the care you need, because if you're a 26-year-old dude, you don't need maternity coverage. Why are you paying for it? You don't have to. info.healthrevolution.net. We know these guys behind this company. Their objective is to save you between 30 and 60% on your family's health insurance or your individual. If you're on COBRA, if you're self-employed, if you're under the age of 65, if you are fed up with the Unaffordable Care Act, or if you're drifting at sea with no plan, 800-868-6187. Jot down that phone number, please. 800-868-6187, info.healthrevolution.net. No copays, very manageable deductibles. You choose your doctor, you keep your doctor, you choose the benefits that you wish to have. Boom, for you. You're welcome. I love like I've got anything to do with it at all. But when he called me, I was like, yes, I'm interested in that. Yes. I have an adult son who is off my insurance now who needs some. Yes. So think about it. Info.healthrevolution.net. Ooh, 300 almost on X. That's pretty good.
Navarro, happy that Trump and his cabinet experienced the fear of a shooter coming for them. Now they know what students go through in active shooting situations. Maybe now they have felt the fear themselves, they will go into do something on gun reform.
Oh, shut up.
Shut up.
1.5. Let's go. We need 320 people to hit that thumbs up bubble underneath the video box. Just kind of go up a little bit and see it. Be like, ooh, I like that. And then while you're there, hit the follow button, and then I'm totally your girlfriend. Whether you want me or not. Oh, there we go. Very nice. This is a very interesting article. A traditionally trained journalist. I went to college, graduate school, worked 30 years in the industry, made it all the way to the top of my profession. I understand the media. I understand TV. I'm understanding radio more and more. And I will present you the facts that I can find, and I'll tell you how to fact check me so you can make the best decisions for you and your family. That's sort of the gist of this relationship that we have together on this program. But I will tell you, I also enjoy dabbling in the rabbit holing. I enjoy going off into different places where people talk about President Trump as a time traveler. I've enjoyed hearing about stories regarding aliens and spacecraft and people out there, if you're one of them, who's like, this broad is one wackadoodle. Stop. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm open to a lot of different possibilities. It would not have been on my bingo card for President Trump after he was thrown to the ground with his wife, right? And told to basically crawl out of that hotel, crawl out of the area with an active shooter nearby. I would not imagine President Trump to have the grace to call the evening a beautiful night up until that point. That there was something special going on in the room that he felt. And that, in fact, it was that scary situation of potential danger. And in fact, a Secret Service agent got shot. So it was extraordinarily dangerous. But Trump was able to say something that was benevolent, that was healing, that was in some way uniting, almost as though he's trying to nudge us down that path. Listen to what he said after. Well, he said this to Nora O'Donnell, if I'm not mistaken. And he's like, he could have blamed the media for causing so much hate, but instead he did something different.
There was tremendous, by this time the event had taken place, people were starting to feel safe. There was tremendous camaraderie. I mean, I saw Democrats, I saw senators, I saw congressmen and women. I saw people that weren't necessarily on my side, from the other party, mostly. Pretty much the Republicans are on my side, so I'm not that, surprised. And they were going, way to go, there was spirit in that room. I mean, it was like the whole country was together. It was pretty amazing. It made a big impression. It was very nice to see.
It made a big impression on President Trump. It reminds me of September 11th, 2001. It reminds me of, there was like a day of grace period where everybody in America kind of just stopped and we started just being gentle with each other and seeing what we have through different lenses. It was short-lived, sadly. But the president is almost describing that kind of a vibe in that moment. All of the petty garbage flies out the window, and everybody just wants to be safe. And everybody wants everybody else to be safe. Well, most people, right? I want you to hear even Brian Stelter, even CNN turd Brian Stelter acknowledged President Trump's grace after the fact when he could have railed the media for ginning up the toxic garbage that creates a clone trooper assassin. Listen.
You know, a couple minutes before this happened, I was with House Speaker Mike Johnson. I shook Johnson's hand. I was talking to him. And then I was walking across the ballroom, Victor, kind of taking the long way toward the CNN tables because I wanted to see some of my friends and some of my sources. And so I ended up on the ground next to a executive from Comcast, some people from NBC. And in that moment, you know, there was a lot of unity. And I'm thankful that President Trump talked about that unity last night and did not try to heighten the tensions or escalate the situation. He could have very easily gone out there and bashed the press last night and blamed the media for attracting this suspect to the ballroom. But instead, he basically said, we're all in this together. And that's certainly true. And that's how it feels this morning as well.
Now, curiously, why would Brian Stelter think that the president would have every reason to blame the media? He didn't just come up with that out of thin air. Well, why would he have the evidence behind such an allegation, Brian? Because it's all you do. You're not fair. You don't tell the truth. You're not objective. You don't present sides. You present one side and one narrative. And the narrative sucks because it is untrue. And those of us who know it's untrue, and you know it's untrue, hate you for spreading it. Look, life is complicated enough. Every single one of you hearing me right now or watching me on video, you've got something going on in your life. It's hard enough. Sometimes you feel like you're hardly treading water, hardly keeping your head above it. And you know what hurts, Brian? Is when people whose party you are a card-carrying member of, when the leader of your House minority, Hakeem Jeffries, last week, comes out and says this on live freaking television.
We are in an era of maximum warfare. Everywhere, all the time.
Is that so? Is that what happens in the House of Representatives, Hakeem? Warfare? I thought you were supposed to work for us. You schmuck. You smug two-bit Obama. What a shame. Therein, ladies and gentlemen, is just part of the problem we, the people, get to deal with now. Because it hasn't been addressed enough yet. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, 45 years after Reagan was shot and almost killed, a politically groomed assassin planned to kill President Trump at the exact same hotel. Let's talk about the security next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Brian, it's so curious that you would identify that the president would have every reason to blame you, to blame the past administration, to blame a weaponized Department of Justice and FBI, to blame all of the minions who helped steal an election, and then all of the people who helped create a suck narrative of January 6th. You know who those people weren't? Conservatives. I hated Barack Obama. I hated Joe Biden. I didn't wish for them to die. I didn't wish somebody to put a bullet in them. I certainly wouldn't have gone out and celebrated, but people on the left would. And you know what? There'd be quite a few teachers among them. That's scary as. Anyway, speaking of concussions, no, I'm kidding. I don't know where we want to go. Where do we want to go? Let's talk about GLP-1 gold. So it's interesting. I'm seeing a lot more people out there We're about to start seeing more skin, more people out there who took the weight loss shots. If you have, I hope they have been effective. I hope that you are well and that you have had no side effects and everything works out for you. I have no faith in big medicine. I just don't. And I have no trust in pharma. So anything I can do to get around pharmaceutical products, I will. This is one of those wonderful things by my friends at Juvenon. It's called GLP-1 Gold, and it is their equivalent of the weight loss injection. It's just in a dietary supplement capsule. And this is $1 a day to lose significant weight, to lose it safely, right? And to lose it with a company that is completely dedicated to you living the healthiest, happiest life possible. I love Juvenon. So here's how you get it. Bloodflow7.com. Everything that they have for the Wendy Bell Radio family. 30% off. What? 30% off. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. This is what it looks like. GLP-1 Gold. Pennies on the dollar. Safe. Crush your appetite safely. People who lose 50, 70, 80 pounds. GLP-1 Gold. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Let's see how you guys are doing. 4,200. Hi. 1.45. I would so love to come back with 1.7. It's a big ask. But you don't get anywhere by aiming small. So I'm going to aim for 250 people. If you would help me. Almost up to 400 on X. It's nice to be with you guys. Ortega Hugo. I went to Texas and gained 5 pounds. Hell yeah, you did. Yeah, it's delicious and you love every ounce of it. Just now I had peach pie for breakfast, okay? So let's just leave it there. And I didn't even heat it up. Sacrilegious. Because if I heated it up, I'd want,
ice cream.
Oh, we're going to play the White House briefing today. 1 p.m.
Here's why I'm a no on that. Because he doesn't go to court until 1:45, I believe. He's supposed to be doing
I think we're going to probably get a lot of rehash of what we know, but probably from a more official, from Caroline Levitt official. Isn't she supposed to have her baby like yesterday?
I think so.
God bless her. Better her than me. I'm in that one critical moment in your life, all women's lives, when you're like, you look at another pregnant woman and you're not jealous. You're like, good luck with that. Did my time. Though I would have done it again and again. How's some hot pink? How you doing? All right, let's see if it worked at all. Not really. 1.53.
You have to move the needle.
Come on. Yes, we do. 170 people. Yes, we could totally move the needle. You guys ready? That's this. Let's go. Oh, so you think she's on maternity leave? No, I don't know.
Baby due in May. Yeah, she was there.
Yeah,
she was the correspondence dinner, I believe.
Baby due in May. Yeah, thank you. You love the lipstick, Lady Pink. My girl. I got it at Walmart. Right? I was looking for Demanda. Why are we congratulating Lexus? Congratulations. Bowling Mom says, don't miss pregnancy heartburn. I never had that. I did have vagal reactions, though, where you get lightheaded and you feel like you're going to pass out. That's a great feeling. I got mine in a crowded restaurant. Tesaro's getting a burger. Hello. Hi, Hot Pink. It's good to see you. All right, 1.57. See, we're 130 away because the goal is 2 by 1 o'clock, right? I don't even want to say the dude's name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't want to say his name. I don't care. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So this guy who traveled across the country ostensibly to kill the president and as many people in his inner circle as possible. The story has some similarities, kind of the ease with which the guy traversed the country to go to Brett Kavanaugh's house, right? Had all of the supplies. But this guy was able to check into a hotel. Nobody scanned his bags. Nobody asked him any questions. The security was odd. It was exactly the way, as Carrie Lake was describing it, exactly the way I felt, and I know I certainly wasn't alone, at the Butler Farm Show complex. And in fact, it was so uncomfortable that day, and I felt it was such a porous, unusual, and alarmingly unsecure environment. I asked my husband, Joe, can we please leave? I need to get out of here. This is not right. I don't want to be here. And thankfully, he just took my hand and out we walked. And then an hour later, right? You can feel it when something is going on. And I could feel it that day. The suspected shooter at the White House Correspondents Association dinner allegedly used the hotel staircase to bypass security. Is it really that simple? Is it really that simple that we all think that there's this fortress around this president, or that there's some security, something or other that would prevent somebody from just walking down flights of stairs with a gun? Multiple guns and multiple not. Like, what are we doing? Senior law enforcement sources told CBS News that hotel surveillance footage showed the alleged assassin, Cole Thomas Allen, 31, exiting his hotel room at the Washington Hilton Hotel with a shotgun, a handgun, and several knives packed inside a black bag. And then he allegedly used an interior stairwell to get around heavily monitored public areas of the hotel before arriving on the same level as the foyer leading to the red carpet for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I mean, like, is this guy some sleuth who went to the library and like bribed some janitor? Let me get into the archives, the vault, so I could see the map. No, he walked out of his room, locked and loaded, and walked down the stairs. What? It's Thomas Crooks. Hey, honey, is that guy carrying a rifle? Sure looks like it. Well, is that him climbing up that, up to the top of some shed? It looks like it. Don't you think somebody should say something? Yeah. Like, what's going on? Anybody else feel kind of weird about this? I do. So Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, all these other cabinet officials, yada, yada, rushed out of the room after the gunshots were heard. Carrie Lake says, you know what? This was weird. There was no bag check. There was no real security screening. Miranda Devine from the New York Post said she was at a pre-party before the whole Correspondents' Dinner. And the person that had her ticket was inside. So she was able to take her phone. And I guess the person took a shot of the QR code and she just kind of waved the QR code to somebody and she was allowed in. Nobody checked her stuff. What? Does that make any sense to you? No. And you can't make it make sense to me. So Carrie Lake and other attendees expose shockingly relaxed security at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. No bag check, no real screening, just wave through. And I said that to my husband at the Butler Farm Show complex. We got there about 15 minutes before the president was supposed to speak. Now, arguably, it was the end of all of these lines of people getting waved through. But I was at the media gate, right? And I literally, I just walked right in. And I was like, hey, Joe, come on over here. You can come with me. That was so weird. It was all off, ladies and gentlemen. Carrie Lake said that. She noted that basic identification, ticket inspection, screening measures were skipped or were minimized at an event attended by the president, his top officials, and hundreds of media figures. In a post shortly after the shooting, Carrie Lake wrote, I can't believe how lax the security was at this White House Correspondents' Dinner tonight. Upon entering, nobody asked to visibly inspect my ticket. Nobody asked for my photo identification. All one had to do was flash what appeared to be a ticket, and they were fine with that. When you consider that you're entering a room full of fake news media, 90% of whom hate the president, you would think they would have better security. This is what happened when what sounded like gunfire erupted, and she describes it. And she says, on the way out, I called out a bunch of the disgusting media who've been pushing hatred towards President Trump for years, and they are a big part of the discord in this country. She called out Jake Tapper. Damn straight. So this is a question that we should all ask. How did an armed suspect get that far, that close to the president of the United States? This isn't some sleeper cell guy. This isn't some extremist person. This isn't one of the people we saw walk across the border as a young military age single man from another country when we were all like, why are all these people coming? This guy was a teacher. He was a teacher. He went to a No Kings rally, right? He was a part of special groups that were all about stuff like protesting and being he is a product of the machine that was basically celebrating last night or Saturday night themselves at that White House Correspondents' Dinner. How did this guy get that close? It's a question that should sound familiar because, of course, less than 2 years ago, we all watched with horror. Nobody got any answers about Thomas Crooks. Where's that? Where's that? You mean to tell me that nobody knows anything about this guy? Right? Noteworthy that hotel guests at the Hilton weren't vetted. Anybody could have just checked in earlier that week. They could have checked in bags full of weapons. Nobody would have known. Lydia Moynihan from the New York Post said that in order to enter the hotel where the event was being held, again, all you had to do was show an invite, and you could have made one yourself. It was no big deal. That's how lax it was. Why? Then there's this person. Here's somebody from the Daily Beast. The Daily Beast left-wing rag, and this reporter, this guy named Hugh Doherty, I don't know how he says it. He's in the room next to this assassin guy. He didn't know, but he's literally in a hotel room right next to a wall between him and this guy who wants to go and do harm to the president. And he writes this article. He says, I slept next door to the assassin in Hilton room 10235. This is a security fiasco. Does it take members of the media being in the crosshairs the way the president is every day to wake up and realize that they have proverbial blood on their hands? You can't go out every single day and say that Trump's war with Iran is unfounded, that he wants to destroy an entire civilization, and then fearmonger that he's going to press nuke and just toast the entire country. It's irresponsible, and they know better. Let's hear what this Daily Beast guy, the journalist who's like, I guess it's all fun and games until it's real. This is what he writes. After the shots rang out, after someone shouted, get down, after what seemed like an eternity, staring at my colleagues' shoes, after watching Trump's cabinet rushed out, terror etched on many of their faces by men with their fingers on their triggers, after a Capitol police officer asked me if I'd seen the congresswoman he thought might have been at the next table, after being told to leave and trooping up an elevator past men in ballistic helmets with long guns going down the other elevator. After gathering with my colleagues and trying to process what happened, I went to the elevator and pressed 10 because I wanted to go to my room. And when I walked down the dark end, sinuous corridor to room 10235, one door short of the very end. I was stopped by a polite man in a suit and an earpiece. Sorry, sir, you can't come through here, he said. And I saw that further down the turn of the corridor behind him were at least 5 men, one in an FBI bulletproof vest, the other with Secret Service police windbreaker. Huh. The man who stopped me wearing a Hilton security badge told me, come back in 20 minutes. It's for all of our protection. We found out, of course, that the gunman charging into the ballroom he was in was his next door neighbor. And this Daily Beast reporter is like, what? The Hilton worker, I'm sorry, sir, I can't let you back here. And he goes through this back and forth about being in the crosshairs of death. Yes. Yes. This is what you create. Do you not understand that? Or do you understand that and you don't care? Then there's Chuck Todd. His response to President Trump and the White House, this is what the White House posted shortly after this event. What happened last night is exactly the reason that our great military, Secret Service, law enforcement, and for different reasons, every president for the past 150 years have been demanding that a large, safe, and secure ballroom be built on the grounds of the White House. This is Trump. This event would never have happened with the militarily top secret ballroom currently under construction at the White House. It cannot be built fast enough. While beautiful, it has every high-level security feature there is. Plus, there are no rooms sitting on top for unsecured people to pour in, and is inside the gates of the most secure building in the world. To this Trump truth, Chuck Todd writes, formerly of Meet the Press, how about working on how to get out of the Middle East mess you made before focusing on a vanity renovation project? I want you to think about that. Moments after a gunman came into the room and could have killed anyone, Chuck Todd's quip is that Trump should maybe get out of the Middle East mess he created with Iran and stop worrying about the vanity ballroom project. There is no negotiating with crazy, ladies and gentlemen. And sadly, what Chuck Todd wrote is crazy. It's the problem. It's the reason why we are in this position we are in. It's the reason Mr. Trump, President Trump, has been under fire for more than 10 years. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, it's so ridiculous. Are young activists, are they born? Are they created? Right? And does it happen in school? I want to read something to you, a connection, of course, with this teacher assassin to be, next on the Wendy Bell radio program. John Fetterman, again, with like the sage comment. And then I don't know what happened to him, but I appreciate what he said. There was nothing salacious or incendiary or accusatory in what John Fetterman tweeted out after that situation. He was there. And he said, we were there front and center. That venue wasn't built to accommodate an event with the line of succession for the U.S. government. After witnessing last night, drop the TDS and build the White House ballroom for events exactly like these. What's that? 30 words? 30 words! This stupid guy from the Daily Beast. It had to be all about him. I was right next to the guy. It could have been me. Oh my God. You know, it makes me think about the Las Vegas shooting where 50-odd people died. Isn't it amazing how they buried that story? It's like, shh. And to Brock's point this morning, he said, why don't they release the manifesto for Audrey Hale? Right? Who, went into that school and killed all of the kids. Why? Why don't we know more about that individual?
But Nora O'Donnell read it on 60 Minutes.
Yeah. But Nora O'Donnell was like, I want to read you this crazy ass manifesto. And he's like, I knew you would. I knew you would. You know what's back, you guys? I'm so excited, Chef IQ.
It's that season.
It is that season. ChefIQ.com. Promo code Wendy. 30% off. What? If you want to be a hero this Mother's Day, oh my, this is the gift mom will love and she will actually use. If your mom loves cooking but hates the stress, this is a super great gift. Flowers are great, of course, but the gift mom wants is something thoughtful that she will actually use, and that is Chef IQ. Chef IQ is the wireless smart thermometer that takes all of the guesswork out of cooking. I can tell you because I use it, and so does Brock. Alerts go right to your phone to tell you exactly when the meat has reached its perfect temperature. It's great for the most seasoned mom chef or the beginner. It works great on the grill, in the oven, even in the air fryer, whatever is on the menu. A perfectly juicy medium rare filet, herb roasted chicken, even your next big family Thanksgiving turkey. Boom. What mom gets? This means time, less hovering around the oven, more hanging out with the people she loves. So right now, with their Mother's Day sale, this is the perfect time to get your Chef IQ. Give mom something she's going to love, that she is going to use long after Mother's Day. It's the Chef IQ, and it is the greatest meat thermometer that takes to get, and you get your life back. It tells you it's time to flip. Okay, it's time to take off the flame. Let it sit. Okay, now you can cut. It's that simple, right? It's like literally 4 questions, and it's like, boom, there you go. ChefIQ.com, promo code Wendy, 30% off. I love this. You will love this. Mom will love this. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. All right, almost 500 people. You guys are doing great today. I only ate half my pie. Do you want any of mine?
No.
Okay.
Why'd you only eat half?
I told you I was queasy today. Probably pregnant. 4,800 people watching.
Oh, no.
That would be a blessed miracle.
That would, for
1.82, 180 to go. Let's go. Oh, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends. You know, this is an interesting article, and I really love this because it's written by the youngest nationally syndicated columnist. His name is Gregory Lekov, and he's 18 years old, and he writes for the Gateway Pundit. And he has a very unique perspective as a young man about teacher bias in K through 12 public education. And he sees some corollaries, what's going on in schools, and this ginned up, kind of toxic, crazy, wackadoodle activist. This is what he writes. As the Gateway Pundit previously reported, the suspect in the attempted shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner has been identified as 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen of Torrance, California. He was taken into custody in the Hilton lobby area near the security screening area. But the more important part of this story is not just what happened, it's who this guy is. Allen is a highly decorated or highly educated professional, I should say. Reports indicate he attended the California Institute of Technology and recently earned a master's degree in computer science. More importantly, he worked as a teacher and was even named Teacher of the Month in December of 2024 at C2 Education in Torrance. It's not fair to say every teacher is responsible for this sort of violence. That would be dishonest, and it would be. There are many teachers who do their jobs well, who focus on academics and avoid pushing political views in the classroom. But ignoring the broader pattern would be just as dishonest. He says, I spent a significant amount of time looking at how education functions in this country. The trend is clear. Schools have increasingly shifted away from neutral instruction and toward ideological influence. Students are often exposed to one sided narratives on complex political issues, with little room for disagreement or serious debate. While education becomes less about teaching students how to think and more about telling them what to think, the consequences extend far beyond the classroom. So true. Trust in institutions begins to erode. Students become less willing to question ideas. Families start to view schools as political environments rather than academic ones. This case shouldn't be used to generalize about every educator, but it should force a conversation that many people have avoided. Teachers operate within a broader system. That system includes unions openly aligned with the left. And when those institutions take clear ideological positions, it inevitably shapes the environment in which teachers work. Political figures like Zoran Mamdani have built support in part through education. Is definitely through education aligned networks that promote the socialist rhetoric that they advocate. That connection reinforces the perception that schools are not neutral spaces, but extensions of broader political movements. How true is this? He writes, I'm not arguing that teachers should avoid all discussion of politics. Schools must play a role in encouraging political discourse. Schools should be places where difficult topics are examined. But there's a difference between presenting multiple perspectives and pushing a single narrative. That line has increasingly become blurred. When students consistently hear one perspective framed as correct and others dismissed, it shapes how they view the world. Over time, that environment discourages independent thinking and replaces it with conformity. Ha! Clone troopers. If a teacher is willing to carry out an attack like this, then it would be ignorant not to consider the possibility that the same individual could have attempted to indoctrinate students. Bing, 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 bing. And when teachers' unions promote protests against an administration, endorse far left candidates, and education funding has more than doubled since the 90s, even after adjusting for inflation while outcomes remain stagnant, it's time to reconsider the structure of the education system. Why do you think Trump dismantled the Department of Education? Moving beyond this event, there have been multiple instances of teachers engaging in radical left-wing rhetoric. After Charlie Kirk's assassination, a Chicago public schools teacher mocked his death, right? When does it stop? How does it stop? Education is almost never discussed as a serious policy concern, but it is. The reality is it's the most pressing issue we face right now because it connects us to everything. And it creates the next generation of thought leaders or sheep. And what we have right now is an awful lot of left-wing sheep. That has got to change. It absolutely must change. You cannot have 90% of the teachers being liberal and expect a different outcome. This is exactly one of the 45 communist goals read into the congressional record. Overtake education, because once you do, you create the secret sauce to indoctrinate the next clone troopers. When we come back, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program, the party of grooming and hate. Which one is it? Next. 18 years old, he sees it, he knows it. There's a reason why a lot of people will work multiple jobs so that their children have the privilege of going outside of the public schools. It's like you're corralled into this program of indoctrination. And if you're one of the few who's like, I don't want that, what do you do? What do you do? Move? Some people do. Scrounge to provide for private education? It's not working. The system's not working. And we have a whole next generation coming up. What do you think all these girls are? I don't know. What do you think?
It says DOG updated 3.
Yeah, but it says 1 o'clock.
presser.
Uh-huh. There's a side of me that says yes, but then there's a side of me that says no. I don't
I don't
know.
need a recap. Like that's what my fear is. That it's just going to be a recap of everything that went on. But
I think
if the update's at 3, what are they going to say at 1? That's what I don't understand.
should we dial in for it or no? You make the call.
Well, she's going to be late, but I just need to know because I need you to be off of that
Right.
if we want. I will follow you.
Let's listen in for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Let's see what we can. I would hate to have them announce something and not know, but I'm on the fence. Let's go for it. Is that hard for you in last minute? Do you want me to turn this off or just wait? What do you guys think? Yes, I think that's probably a smart move. We can ascertain in the first several minutes if it's worthwhile.
Yeah, there are people coming in already.
Right.
So I'm going to do this.
Let me quickly get in here about the healthy fat, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. This is something that you add to the water that you're already drinking if you want to lose significant weight. This is not for your casual dieter. This is not the 5-8 pound dieter. This is for somebody who needs help with significant weight loss. What does it do? Kills your appetite, crushes your appetite so that you can skip a meal, gives you a satisfied feeling for about 5 hours. It's got polyphenols, and it's all about ketones for more energy. This is what it looks like. I drink it every single day. This is how much we're drinking of it. We're almost down with our first of 3 jars. I love this. I trust Dr. Gundry. I like his products. And he himself says he lost more than 70 pounds drinking this very product. Learn more about it by going to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. I've been drinking it every single day for what, a year? A year. I swear by it. I think it's fantastic. Fantastic. Great, great, great dietary supplement. Safe. Dr. Gundry says go for it if you've got significant weight to lose. We'll see how this goes. I would hate to miss something on the cusp of an attempted assassination attempt and be holding my.
I don't disagree.
But I could go both ways on it. Let's see what you guys think. I'm going to ask you yes or no. We're taking it, but I wonder what you guys think. Welcome, 5,000 people. It's a joy to be with you. Thank you so much. Our goal is organically to hit the 100,000 followers mark. And literally, it's a scratch every single day. We add a couple dozen every single day. And that's how we've grown. And we would be delighted if you would be part of our scratch. All you have to do is scroll up on this video box and underneath me, click that thumbs up button. That's the Rumble, and hit follow right next to it. I'd love for you guys to do that. Thank you so much if you already have.
Me listening on the side.
Yes.
And filling you guys in. Like I understand what you're saying, but if we don't take it, we have sound here to play. So I can't.
Oh, yeah. There's no splitting him off of what he's doing.
I really can't pay attention. I have to pay attention.
Oh, somebody was volunteering you to listen on the side?
Listen in and tell us on the side.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't.
While you're doing that, would you please do my laundry?
Yeah, right. I'm going to pee while I'm doing all that.
That's right. Hey, we hit 2,000. Thank you. Look at that. I love you. Love you. It's just so sad. I love that young man's approach because, yes, we all know that this is what's being indoctrinated in school. When you have teachers who are like, we don't say the Pledge of Allegiance. We sing the Black National Anthem or whatever. You're like, what? Knock it off.
Yeah,
Knock it off. It's called School.
It's called the national anthem.
Yeah. It's very racist
Yeah, I
to
don't
create a
care.
black version of it. That's so embarrassing. I would be embarrassed. If I was a black person and there was a black national anthem, I'd be like, you know what? That's obnoxious. That's divisive. We're all supposed to be in it together. Remember?
Oh, here we go.
Do I turn this off?
Yeah.
How do you want to handle this when we come back? Just come right to it? Or do you have to do the open and all that?
Don't worry about
your questions until after my maternity leave. But given the attempted assassination of the president and, quote, top Trump administration officials, as the depraved shooter noted in his manifesto at the White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday evening, I felt it was prudent to be here today to answer your questions and inform the American people about how the administration is responding to yet another attempt on President Trump's life. Saturday was supposed to be a joyful evening, celebrating free speech and the First Amendment with all of you, members of the press. Instead, the night was hijacked by a crazed anti-Trump individual who traveled across the country to assassinate the president and as many administration officials as possible. This is the third major assassination attempt against President Trump in 2 years. No other president in history has faced such repeated, serious attempts on his life. First and foremost, the president, the first lady, and everyone in this White House are extraordinarily grateful to the brave law enforcement professionals who sprang into action to apprehend the would-be assassin and keep all of us safe. The president would especially like to express his gratitude to the men and women of the United States Secret Service who acted with the utmost professionalism, courage, and sense of duty. This includes the heroic agent who took a bullet to the chest. Thankfully, he was saved by his bulletproof vest. Minutes after returning here to the White House to the Oval Office, despite fighting Secret Service to try to stay and keep the dinner going on Saturday, ahead of addressing you here in the briefing room, President Trump was intent on speaking to this brave agent to ensure he was okay. And the agent assured the president that he was. As you know, I was seated next to President Trump and the First Lady when the shots were fired before Secret Service swiftly moved us to safety backstage. The president's calm in the face of chaos, while yet another individual was trying to take his life, was really remarkable to witness, and it's something I will never forget. President Trump is fearless because he loves this country, and he is willing to put his own life on the line to deliver on the promises that he made to the American public who elected him here into the highest office in the land. And while we are blessed to have a fearless president, we should not live in a country where such constant fear of political violence permeates our society every single day. We can and we should have fierce disagreement in this country. As you all know, we disagree often, myself in this role and all of you in the news media, but those disagreements must remain peaceful. Debating, peaceful protesting, and voting are how we need to settle disagreements, not bullets. Nobody in recent years has faced more bullets and more violence than President Trump. This political violence stems from a systemic demonization of him and his supporters by commentators, yes, by elected members of the Democrat Party, and even some in the media. This hateful and constant and violent rhetoric directed at President Trump day after day after day for 11 years has helped to legitimize this violence and bring us to this dark moment. Those who constantly falsely label and slander the president as a fascist, as a threat to democracy, and compare him to Hitler to score political points are fueling this kind of violence. The left-wing cult of hatred against the president and all of those who support him and work for him has gotten multiple people hurt and killed, and it almost did so again this weekend. When you read the manifesto of this shooter, ask yourselves, how different is the rhetoric from this almost assassin than what you read on social media and hear in various forums every single day? The answer, if you're being honest with yourself, is that there is no difference at all. Much of the manifesto of the would-be assassin is indistinguishable from the words that we hear daily from so many. For example, as the First Lady of the United States pointed out this morning, just 2 days prior to the shooting, ABC's late night host Jimmy Kimmel disgustingly called First Lady Melania Trump an expectant widow. Who in their right minds says a wife would be glowing over the potential murder of her beloved husband? And having experienced what I did with the First Lady on Saturday night, I can tell you that she was anything but that. This kind of rhetoric about the president, the First Lady, and his supporters is completely deranged, and it's unbelievable that the American people are consuming it night after night after night. As President Trump said on Saturday night at this podium, we as Americans must recommit ourselves to resolving our differences peacefully and uniting around the shared values that make our country great. The deranged lies and smears against the president, his family, his supporters have led crazy people to believe crazy things, and they are inspired to commit violence because of those words. It has to stop. And one more point. Saturday night served as yet another reminder of how important it is to fund the Department of Homeland Security. It is shameful that the United States Congress has kept this vital agency defunded for 73 days. The longest shutdown of a federal agency in U.S. history. The Secret Service is a vital component of DHS. It has been directly impacted by this reckless political gamesmanship. Everyone in this room who was there on Saturday night witnessed the heroes of Secret Service and federal law enforcement jump into action in the face of grave danger and uncertainty. Agents put their own lives in harm's way to protect the president, the First Lady, the Vice President, and members of the cabinet. One agent can be seen in video footage literally jumping onto the stage, not knowing where the attacker was or where the bullets were coming from at that point, to place his body in front of the President of the United States. These men and women are heroes. They perform their duties daily, and they have children and families too. And they do it despite the political turmoil surrounding their agency. Make no mistake, this defunding of DHS should be a national scandal. If Republicans defunded DHS and we saw another attempted assassination on a Democrat president, I would hope that the media coverage would be relentless and unforgiving, and I hope that it continues to be now. With the World Cup, America 250, the 2028 Olympics, and a presidential election all ahead, the Democrats' obstruction is placing an enormous and totally pointless burden on the Secret Service that can get more people killed. Enough is enough. There should be no further debate about this. Democrats need to do what President Trump has been calling on them to do for 73 days in a row and fund the Department of Homeland Security, period. This is a national emergency, and every member of Congress needs to put their country over party and get the Department of Homeland Security funded. With that, I will take a few of your questions today. Daniel, thank you for being here. Why don't you kick us off?
Thank you, Caroline. The president, Saturday after the assassination attempt, came here. He emphasized that law enforcement did their job, keeping everyone safe for the dinner. House Speaker Mike Johnson came out and said he believes the president needs greater protection. What is the White House's message to the millions of Americans who wake up here today nervous, uneasy about the safety of the president at events like this and the safety of other cabinet members?
Well, we certainly understand their fears and their worries. As you heard from the president himself, he continues to have trust in the United States Secret Service. As I just said, these are great men and women who are doing their jobs and performing their duties honorably. As we all witnessed on Saturday evening, within minutes, the president, the first lady, the vice president, members of the president's cabinet were ushered out of the room. The perpetrator who sought to inflict massive harm, as we all now know with the release of the manifesto on administration officials and the president himself, was stopped at the security parameter that was set up. He tried to charge through it, as you saw on video, and he was quickly neutralized by Secret Service, and thank God that he was. With that said, obviously, the White House is always asking the tough questions and ensuring the safety of the president. I understand there will be a meeting early this week convened by the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, with top DHS leadership, members of the United States Secret Service, and our own operations team here to ensure the safety and the security of the president, as we do have many of these major events moving forward. So we're always monitoring operations and procedures, always asking the tough questions to ensure the president is safe, and the American people should be assured there's no higher priority for the president and his staff than the president's safety.
Carol, on Friday you said that you thought that gaggle out of the sticks would be your last one for your baby. Back in 2024, when the president had the attempt on his life in Butler, you cut your maternity leave short back then. You're obviously back here today after Saturday. Can you just elaborate a little bit why you felt it was important to be here to bring to the media and talk to the American people from the stand?
Sure. It's sort of crazy timing when you put it that way for both children with 2 assassination attempts against the president. I'm honored to work in this job. I view this job as the president's spokesperson and the White House spokeswoman as public service. It's not just any job. I'm honored to do it, and I'm honored to work and speak on behalf of President Trump, who has faced unprecedented adversity and challenges, and I'm honored to work for him. And again, as I witnessed on Saturday night, just his dogged resolve and determination to get back onto the stage, and he was pushing Secret Service and law enforcement to allow him to address. And that really, I think, hopefully gives the country the type of strength that we need. And I certainly know, as his spokeswoman, and I can speak on behalf of all of the staff here at the White House, the president inspires all of us to just keep going and keep fighting every day. Thanks, Daniel. And congrats to you on your new baby. He's beautiful. Aisha.
Just from the rhetoric, you mentioned the First Lady and Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel's comments were, Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow. And he said this days before the shooting, but there does seem to be a normalization of rhetoric about assassinating this particular president. How can this administration try to put an end to this?
Well, I think you heard it directly from the president on Saturday night, Aisha, that in his words, we need to recommit ourselves as a country to toning down the rhetoric and to unifying around what makes our country great. That's true of everyone who works in this White House. But as I said, it's also true of everyone who has a voice and a platform across this country, whether you're on television, a podcast host, people listen. And when you have mentally disturbed individuals across the country who are listening to this crazed rhetoric about the president day after day after day, it inspires them to do crazy things. And unfortunately, it's not just the media, it is the entire Democrat Party has made their pitch to voters across the country that Donald Trump poses an existential threat to democracy, that he is a fascist, and that they compare him to Hitler. I mean, these are despicable statements that the American people have been consuming for years. And so many mentally perturbed individuals are led to believe these words are truth and then are inspired to act on it. I have a whole host of examples that we can share with you after. It is pages and pages of major Democrat Party elected officials saying, such as Rep. Hakeem Jeffries just this month said, we are in an era of maximum warfare everywhere all the time. Governor Josh Shapiro said heads need to roll within the administration. Senator Alex Padilla said people are, quote, dying because of fear and terror caused by the Trump administration. Senator Elizabeth Warren, President Trump is making the country look like a, quote, fascist state. Senator Adam Schiff saying President Trump using a dictator playbook. Senator Ed Markey calling President Trump a dictator, saying that this administration's actions are authoritarianism on steroids. Governor J.B. Pritzker, never before in my life have I called for mass protest disruptions. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. You have Rep. Presley saying, we'll see you in the streets. Rep. Monica McIver, a Democrat representative on Capitol Hill, we will not take this shit from Donald Trump. He thinks he's a dictator. We are at war. These are Democrat elected officials calling for war against the president of the United States and his supporters. I could go on and on, but again, when you have people in positions of power that are saying things like this every single day for years, you are inspiring violence by people who are already mentally ill. And that's what we've seen against this president for far too long.
This is disinformation and misinformation online. There will be bite-sized clips that will go viral to the point where there are Americans in this country that believe that what happened Saturday night was staged. How does this White House tackle that with social media companies out there, whether it's X, Facebook, Instagram? How do they work with these companies to make sure that doesn't get out of control?
It's certainly a good question, Aisha. I don't have tangible answers for you on what we're doing with social media companies, if anything at all. What I will say is it's very important to us that we get the truth and the facts about this case and any case out there as quickly as possible to dispel some of that crazy nonsense that you do see running rampant online. And I think the Department of Justice and the FBI thus far have done a good job of disseminating the truth and the facts about this alleged attempted assassin, the perpetrator in this case. And I understand he'll be arraigned in court very soon. You all see that. In the Department of Justice will be giving a briefing and an update later today. So as far as we're concerned, just providing maximum transparency and hopefully people will believe the truth rather than the lies and the conspiracies that so often do go crazy on social media. Rachel.
Thanks, Caroline. Does the administration view this as a security failure, or did the protocols work as they were designed?
The president has said he believes that the protocols worked. Again, you had a perpetrator who tried to breach the security parameter that was set up by Secret Service, and he was running as fast as he could and was immediately neutralized moments later. And again, having been right up there on the stage with the president and the first lady, I can tell you it was seconds before we were told to get down, and it was seconds before we found ourselves in the hold room backstage. It all happened literally within a matter of seconds. The president, the vice president, and the first lady being pulled to safety. That is not done if there's a lapse. So Secret Service did their jobs well. They communicated with one another to remove the president and the vice president to safety as quickly as they could, and obviously to neutralize the shooter as well. And thank God they did, because if that man was allowed into that ballroom, it would have been a much different scene.
And just one more follow-up on just how the White House could be rethinking security protocols going forward. I mean, we all remember after the attempted assassination in Butler, there were indoor rallies that were held after that. Is that out of the question, changing any additional security protocols when it comes to how the president does these events that are outside of the White House?
I definitely wouldn't say changes are out of the question. I think, again, that it's up to the White House here, and we view it as a great responsibility to ensure the maximum safety of the president and the vice president and the entire cabinet. And so we're always looking for ways to improve security. I think if you just sit here and say everything is perfect all the time, that's not a good way to operate. And so the White House will continue to engage with DHS and with Secret Service to find ways to improve and strengthen security. But as far as Saturday night is concerned, the president was satisfied with the response, and he's very grateful to the men and women who provided the response for him and his wife and members of his team.
Caroline. Thanks, Caroline. The president has talked about rescheduling the dinner within 30 days. Does he have a specific venue in mind? And would he consider hosting it at the White House?
All right.
Well,
We're going to dump out of this now. I'm not as interested in hearing about scheduling in the future, but I think she did say some very interesting things. Once again, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. We wanted to pop in on this White House press briefing. Caroline Levitt, ostensibly after today, will be on maternity leave, and that is somewhat inconsequential to you and to me. However, I wanted to hear what she had to say, and the line is the same. This president is grateful for the swift action of an unfunded Department of Homeland Security, that if there is one thing that Democrats could do, it's not to come by kumbaya President Trump. It's to do the right thing, to end the longest government shutdown in American history, to stop it with the political nonsense and do what needs to be done. Period. Look, I was thinking about this morning as I was putting together the show. And it used to be cancel culture. Look, I was one of the first real public 2016 fired. It went global. I was a racist, prominent television news anchor, fired for talking about black on black crime in our community and having enough of it, right? It's one thing to be canceled. It's another thing entirely to be killed. And we've taken a huge leap in the last decade, ladies and gentlemen, because it's gone from canceled to kill culture. And it's celebrated, and it's glorified, and it's glamorized by dumb, white, college-educated liberal chicks. I'm going to say it. These are the people who swooned over what's-his-face, Luigi Mangione. Can you imagine finding attractive somebody who would stalk, and shoot in the back, allegedly, a healthcare CEO. And people like Taylor Lorenz from the freaking Washington Post, literally swooning over him. There's something seriously wrong going on. And the seeds were planted decades ago. It's been a slow rooting process of germinating hate. It starts small, and it's slow, and it takes time, and it takes persistence, and there is the habitual repeating of the ideology. And then all of a sudden, you see it graduate, and you see it take shape in the workforce. And you see young people who are bright, many who come from good families, who are completely off the deep end. And whatever is missing in their lives is then filled with this new indoctrination and ideology of hate, that there is comfort there, that there is family there. It's freaking crazy. And yet, go to a No Kings rally, walk around, ask one of these people to describe what they're doing. They can't do it. All they know is they belong to something. And if that something is killing Donald Trump, well, so be it. It's better than being home by themselves on a Friday night. James Carville. I mean, you want to talk about an octogenarian representation of freaking bat crap, crazy, progressive wackadoodly. This is him. This is what he said over the weekend, James Carville, political strategist for the Democrats, right? Dude is off his rocker, clearly off of his meds. He doesn't want to see Donald Trump die. Oh no. Listen.
I want to be clear on this. I do not want that man to die. I want to watch him suffer. And I can't watch a dead person suffer. So I want him to be fully cognizant come November. So when people tell him.
I will be honest with you. I don't know if this was recent or if it was something that was resurrected from his reelection. I don't know. Think about that mentality. I don't want to see him die because death is too good. I want to see him suffer. That's another slice of nutty. I dislike an awful lot of people. But you know, we haven't jumped to that point in our political discourse where killing your political enemy is all about protecting democracy. Democrats have. It's who they have become. It's what they espouse. It is exactly the message they share. And the goal is for people like this 31-year-old teacher to do exactly what he did. This is why these people celebrate the Renee Goods, the Alex Prettys. This is why these people on the left martyr people like George Floyd. What happened to them? It's been a long march, guys. This isn't like a flip of a switch. This is the process. Yuri Bezmenov told us about it years ago. The slow walk towards communism. Well, you got to sell your soul a few times first, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about President Trump. He bodied Norah O'Donnell and proved that 60 minutes is about 50 minutes too long. Next.
That was a good line. 50 minutes too long.
Jesus, it's so bad. All right, let's talk. Healthy cell REM sleep. I'm just going to say there are certain things that you want in your apothecary bag, your little prepper bag for when things happen. I have ivermectin, just in case, right? I've got some ivermectin. I've got my supplements that I need that I love, but the REM sleep from Healthy Cell is one of those things that it's just nice to know that if you're sitting there and you're tossing and turning and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to get to sleep. I have a presentation at work, or it's a busy travel day, or I've just got stuff to do. I don't have time to be like, "Arr." You take a Healthy Cell REM sleep microgel formulation. Talk about innovative supplements, right? We're going to give it to you in a microgel because microgel is easier for you to digest and get into your system. And you're going to be out. Lights out 30 minutes, nighty night. But it's not that like deep. If somebody could break in your house and set it on fire and you'd never know about it. You're alert. You could be alert, but you just sleep. It's a beautiful healthycell.com/Wendy. 20% off discount for your first time. You're going to love it. Might as well just get Focus and Recall and the REM sleep because they are both phenomenal formulations. Healthycell.com/Wendy. Love, 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 love them. 100%. And there's so many formulations too. Huh?
I'm going to run.
Okay. Go ahead. I won't talk about Texas Bullion Exchange while you're gone. That's what that means. But I will thank our friends at Get Native Path. This is how much of the collagen we've been taking. I think collagen is one of the cheapest, most bang for your buckinest things that you can do. Is you can naturally replenish the most abundant protein in your body, which is collagen. Collagen is for everything. It's for your skin, elasticity of your skin. It's for your cartilage in your joints. So you get that crackling, weird, it's called crepitus. High collagen. It's for your bones, bone strength. It's for your hair, skin, and nails. It's for your gut. It's for everything. And I'm going to tell you, it's one of the things that we start to lose the fastest as we get older. It's that building block of our life and longevity. And once you start losing it, it's really hard to get it back. I've been taking just one scoop. It's 10 grams, 25 servings in this. Brock and I have powered through it, and every single day it's in my bottle with my healthy fat. This is what we're drinking. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. It's hot. Sorry. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. And their promos are ridiculous. Up to 45% for Wendy Bell Radio listeners. Literally, it's pennies a day that you're going to be spending to take collagen so you can build it back up. And again, yeah, it's totally vain why I started doing it. I exercised and I saw in the mirror, I had that weird crepey looking skin that old bags get. I'm like, I'm 56. I could qualify. Don't want to be that. So I'm fighting it with 10 grams of protein a day. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. They're so great to deal with. Up to 45% off.
Okay, I'll give you guys a little behind the scenes. Because someone says they have to just listen. They can't watch because the sound and the voice are not in sync.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way we can do that here through the radio is that I have to run the sound from one computer that's wired in and the video from the laptop, which is not wired in, which means they have different upload speeds. And that's what, right. Well, I just wanted to explain to them while you put on your makeup.
Hey, I'm a girl.
Why that doesn't jive up. And it also gives us the opportunity to blow through a break for the radio station where I can get rid of our commercials and their stuff will still run, but you guys can still hear everything that's going on. That's it.
Copy that. How about James Carville? I want to see him suffer.
Listen, I said to you this
sad
morning.
Statement.
I compared James Carville to what was his name I used this morning? Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer just didn't kill something. He wanted to watch it suffer. That's a psychopath. There's no different. I don't want to see Trump die. I want to see him suffer. Like that's next level. Yeah, that's next level kind of
psycho.
Meanwhile, they're all against waterboarding.
And they're all like, yay, James Carville, he's my hero. You get in their faces at a restaurant, you tell them they're not welcome anymore. Maxine Waters, wow, how inclusive and loving. You fat toad. I don't even know if she's fat. She looks like a living caricature of herself, right? With that.
Wait, who?
Maxine Waters. Oh. They're all saying employee of the month, please. I was out blowing schmutz all over the place. I have more oak silt in my nose than
What's that have to do with me getting employee of the month?
Nothing. I was just gagging.
It's Friday. It's not Friday. I still have a chance. Are we skipping everything and going to
I'm going to go to 1:30, yeah.
Okay.
But we might resuscitate a few of those things. I'll give you a notice. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I don't know why he does it, but the president has far more patience when it comes to his time and giving some to the media than I would ever be. I don't know if I would ever be able to look at CBS, NBC, ABC, any of these outlets, 60 Minutes, the BBC, any of these outlets that have selectively edited his words to create the illusion that he said something that he did not, whether it be about Charlottesville, very fine people on both sides, or it was January 6th, we're going to go down there, we're going to get in their faces, and it's like, no, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he gives them the time, because I'd want to throat punch and throw down the stairs all of these people. It's almost though he does it so that you can see for yourself. He can sit here a million different times and tell you until he's blue in the face. You have to experience it the way those journalists had to experience it, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. How do you like it? Do you like feeling like you have to duck, wearing your tuxedo or your evening gown? You're on the floor, helpless. How does that feel? It sucks. Nobody should feel like that. It's almost like they had to feel it. It's almost like you need to listen to Norah O'Donnell to realize that there is nothing redeeming about 60 Minutes. There just isn't. So he sits down with Norah O'Donnell, and this is after how the president made phone calls on Sunday morning. And we know from Steve and Peter Ducey, father and son Fox, they were at the Correspondents' Dinner. They got a phone call from the president. Hey, are you okay? Are you all right after last night? President checking in on that. You know who also got a phone call? Jonathan Karl, ABC News. President called Jonathan Karl on his house phone, his landline. He's like, nobody knows this number. Well, the president does. Ring. And he answered it like, what? Who's calling me on this line? And it was the president of the United States. Jonathan, are you okay? Who does that? Who looks out for the well-being of people who have no doubt contributed to this dangerous kill culture environment that we live in now? Well, President Trump does. It's wild. And so he sits down with Norah O'Donnell, and she brings up this guy, Cole Allen, the shooter guy, sharing this crazy manifesto with family members a few minutes before he stormed into the lobby area of this hotel, right? I want you to hear the exchange between the two, and then we're going to play a few other clips where the president just basically, he just makes Norah look like a fool. Here's audio soundbite number 1.
We found that out this morning, and the family members were concerned. I think the brother called up the police. I think the sister may have called the police. The parents were rather devastated. He lived with the parents. I saw the parents last night on television opening the door. I assume that was his parents. Look, you have sick people, and you have to mitigate the risk. But some of these sick people, it's amazing. They're very sick, but they're also, in some cases, very, very smart. He went to great school. I can tell you person in Butler, I don't know if you ever looked at his academic credentials, he had almost 1,600 on his college boards. 1,600. Nobody has. I mean, it's the upper 99.9 percentile or something, and he was a crazy person, but a smart crazy person. I think the law enforcement did a great job last night.
And so he hit that again and again and again. Grateful for the law enforcement, grateful for the professionalism of the Secret Service. Under ridiculous circumstances, they did what they are supposed to do, and it ended up well. So he talks about the gunman, very, very bright. Talks about Thomas Crooks, guy got a perfect score on his ACT, 1560 on his SAT. These are not dumb people, but somewhere along the line, they get captured. They get groomed. They become indoctrinated. And Norah O'Donnell asks the president about the alleged gunman going to No Kings rallies. Well, what do you think about that? Why do a No Kings rally, why does that even exist? Because President Trump is the great disruptor. He disrupted all of the plans, this new liberal world order that the deep state has been salivating over, that their fingers, their pterodactyl fingers, have been like going like this, ooh, over. He's the guy who blew up Act Blue. He's the guy that helped expose all of the garbage with USAID. He's the guy who stopped them in their tracks. He's the guy that they are trying to stop now. Donald Trump on the gunman attending No Kings rallies. Here you go. If I was a king, I wouldn't be dealing with you. He tells you exactly what's going on. He's like, Norah O'Donnell, don't you realize that you in 60 Minutes are a huge part of the problem? You had stopped long ago telling stories of consequence to the American people. You now selectively edit stuff. I told Leslie Stahl, the president could have said years ago, they spied on my campaign, Leslie. It was a rigged election. Mr. President, this is 60 Minutes. We can't say that. Yeah, we can. You guys suck. And everybody sees it, or at least a growing majority are seeing that. And then she asks him, why do you think you're always a target? Oh, I don't know, but his answer, I think it's right. It's spot on. Listen.
We are consequential. This is a consequential presidency. I have a great cabinet, and they do things that are very good, but some people, if they're good for us, they're not good for other people. Like, as an example, Iran, when they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They will not have. They're not going to blow up the world. They're crazy. They're not going to blow up the world. And therefore, they're not happy. And when they're not happy, people do things that are violent. Now, I'm not tracing anything back to them, but certainly if they had a shot, they'd probably take it. So when you're a consequential president, or if you have a consequential administration, things happen that wouldn't happen if you're Sleepy Joe Biden. Everyone was happy with Biden. The world was happy. You know why they were happy? Because they were taking advantage of us, because they treated the United States like we were stupid people, and they made a lot of money, but they don't do that anymore.
When you're consequential, people pay attention to you. I remember when I got sacked from one of my many jobs. And I remember talking to my husband about it, and he's like, "Why are you down? Why are you so disappointed?" I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I wish I could just keep my mouth shut. Sometimes I wish I could just sit and watch things happen and not say something. Sometimes I wish I was just a boring brick wall and I created no waves and nobody paid attention. And he's like, really? No, you don't. You're consequential. Say things. Speak your mind. Back it up. Be fair. But tell the truth. And President Trump is a consequential president, the most consequential in my lifetime. And finally, when Norah O'Donnell decides to read the gunman's deranged diary, Why every lunatic needs a stupid manifesto? Because they want to go out in a Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris Columbine blaze of glory. We should stop giving it to them. President Trump. Oh, here it is. You're a disgrace. You're disgraceful. If the president of the United States said that to me while I was interviewing him, I would be floored. I would be devastated. She just goes right on. She knew darn well what she was going to do. He called you a rapist, a pedophile, and she had to merchandise it. I'm going to go out there and legitimize that. And he called her on the floor. Meantime, do you know what also happened? So right after this shooting happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, President Trump made another phone call. He called Rick Grinnell, his former director of national intelligence for a hot second, the first active, openly gay American presidential cabinet member, right? President Trump called Rick Grinnell. This is what Rick Grinnell put on X. The president of the United States was just the target of another assassin attempt tonight. But he called me just now to check in to see how I was doing because my mom died on Wednesday. That's who they want to kill. The president who wants to make sure you're okay because your mom passed. Huh. She is a disgrace, Nora O'Donnell. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about Beyond Bias. Pete Hegseth with, I believe, the 2.5-minute takedown of basic bias and media garbage that everybody needs to hear. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Like literally. He'd just been tackled to the floor by the Secret Service. And literally hours later, President Trump's calling Rick Grinnell to make sure Rick Grinnell's okay.
No, the best was her going, oh, you think he's talking about you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Lady, please.
You're such a twit. Yeah. And I dislike everything about you, Nora O'Donnell. And by the way, honestly, would you need notes to go interview the president of the United States?
Mm-mm.
Honest to God. Do you need notes? Oh, what am I going to ask him? We had him on for 14 minutes. I don't believe I looked at a note. What's there to look at a note over? You're having a conversation, right? And unless you're having a gotcha, because if it's a gotcha, then you should suck it.
Well, she wanted to make sure she quoted the manifesto correct.
100%. That's all we were looking for. All right, let me tell you guys quickly about Texas Bullion Exchange. WendyLovesGold.com. I enjoy my relationship with Texas Bullion Exchange because I think it opens a door for so many of you who might be interested in precious metals investing, but you really don't know the first thing about it. I did not either. In fact, when they reached out to me because they watched the show, they're like, you know what? Your conservative values and the view that you give as a mom completely aligns with ours as a business as well, because it's all about family first and making sure yours is taken care of. I can completely attest to that. That is WendyLovesGold.com. 855-927-5557. They want to connect with you and give you that peace of mind to get gold, silver, platinum, or palladium into your portfolio or just into your hot little hands. They deliver it to your door via UPS. It's the easiest thing ever. You would never have any idea that the guy who's coming to your door has thousands of dollars of precious coins in his box, right? They are fabulous. I love WendyLovesGold.com, my friends at Texas Bullion Exchange. So get in touch with them, please, and get your precious metals guide here. It's really nice. You can call, ask for this. You can even go online just to WendyLovesGold.com and they'll send you this wealth, basically preservation guide. It protects you. Ask about how you can get 6% in free silver from them too. Yeah, that's just for us. Oh, now it's freezing again. Jesus.
So,
well, you know what we could do here?
Peg says 243.
How long is the? What can we put in there?
The mashup's 2:15. Raskin is a minute himself, and Timmy is 20 seconds. So you could probably do Hegseth. Definitely not mashup.
How about we do Tim Walls?
Hegseth and Walls.
Yeah, but we'll start with Tim. Is that okay?
Yep.
Let's do that.
Timmy.
It's very, I don't know what word I have for it. I can't imagine getting out there and lying every single day about my political opponent and creating horrible, disqualifying things about him and then making it so bad that it would encourage the mentally unstable to go take matters into their own hands. I can't imagine living with those consequences or that knowledge. Briefing room just within the last hour. This president for 10 years, 11 years now, has been the focus of an all-out, desperate smear campaign. And there has been no depth to which is too far south towards hell that these people won't go to get something to stick, anything to stick, because they can't have you liking this president. They can't have you celebrating his values. They can't have you getting on board with his love of country. They can't have you thinking that there's rot and corruption and fraud, waste, and abuse that we need to clean up. They can't, because their political survival depends on Donald Trump's demise, one way or another. And it's really the low IQ criminals out there, people like Tim Walls, under whose nose billions of dollars left America, and he knew all about it. When you hear this from somebody like your governor, who says Donald Trump basically is the Antichrist every single day, that's how you get people with mental problems who decide to take matters in their own hands. Here's the governor of freaking Minnesota.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core." Let that sink in, and don't be a damn bit afraid of saying it, because that's exactly who he is.
That's him campaigning to be vice president of the United States. That's where we are. That's where we've been. That's why what happened Saturday is not a surprise. It is disgusting, and it makes me queasy. I have been queasy all day thinking about this. Pete Hegseth, however, did a beautiful job telling the mainstream media in no uncertain words that they are guilty of creating an aura of danger around this president and his administration.
Because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard, it's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump, because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, I don't know, fly a plane for 36 hours? Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done the story how hard that is? Have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F-15 or 16 or F-22 or F-35, or what it's like to man a Patriot battery, or how hard it is to refuel midair, giving the American people an understanding of how complex and sophisticated this mission really was. There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that, because of the hatred of this press corps, are undermined because your people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible. And folks in this room are privy to that information because of the proximity here in the Pentagon. It's an important responsibility. And time again, classified information is leaked or peddled for political purposes to try to make the president look bad. And what's really happening is you're undermining the success of incredible B-2 pilots and incredible F-35 pilots and incredible refuelers and incredible air defenders who accomplished their mission, set back a nuclear program in ways that other presidents would have dreamed. How about we celebrate that? How about we talk about how special America is, that only we have these capabilities? I think it's too much to ask, unfortunately, for the fake news. So we're used to that. But we also have an opportunity to stand at the podium and read the truth of what's really happening. And the reality is, you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated, choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, and we should celebrate it as Americans. And it gives us a chance to have peace, chance to have a deal, and an opportunity to prevent a nuclear Iran, which is something President Trump talked about for 20 years.
Such a great speech, such a great 2-minute reminder to the media. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, hour 3, we're going to talk about the House Oversight Committee turning its sights on Ilhan Omar's husband. Is this going to be the beginning of her unraveling? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I think in 2 minutes and 43 seconds, he absolutely nailed it. You can't even celebrate the dismantling of the nuclear threat that puts everybody on planet Earth in danger. You can't celebrate that because Donald Trump's in charge. Really? I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
We do have some I hate to say alien talk, but more about what's going on in that realm coming up too. And to me, that's super interesting. I don't know if it is to you guys or not. I said on Friday, I think this has a lot to do with, doesn't have a lot to do with so much the little green men as it does the technology that they're studying, that they're essentially being, I hate the way the press says it, but unalived and disappeared because of what they know. I was watching something, I get caught in the rabbit holes of these type things. They're talking about how they move with time, space, and the time and space can move faster than the speed of light. And these things aren't necessarily being moved, but the waves behind and in front of them move so fast that it looks like they just disappeared. I don't understand quantum physics. I barely made it out of physics class alive. But it's fascinating to me that there's technology out there that they're studying and they're re-engineering or that can change how we travel.
Disinfectwithsniper.com. All right, Brock, tell them about it. There's gonna be a very exciting package put together
for Mother's Day.
It's gonna have all sorts of wonderful stuff in it.
It's gonna have Harmony and some new products that he got in that he's super geeked about that has to do with organic growing of roses and vegetables and azaleas, and he's super pumped about this.
I'm geeked about it too, because after our yard is done or after the construction's done, there are going to be roses and azaleas going in. And so when you said roses and azaleas, I was like, whoa. Disinfectwithsniper.com. We sell there the greatest hospital grade antibacterial disinfectants in the world. We also sell all sorts of other stuff, products to keep the deer off your hosta. How about that? That's a big deal. I have that, and they don't touch it after you spray it on it. How about something that's called Dead Weed Brew, which is like the greatest ivy or weed killer? You've got pesky stuff like mint or strawberry that keeps coming up in your yard, clover, things of that nature. Boom, neutralize it. All sorts of great stuff. Disinfectwithsniper.com. That's the site. And we'll give you a heads up when this gift box is going to be available. I think it's going to be great.
And with your garden coming out, you're going to want to try the Harmony.
It's going to be
spray it right on your plants to
kill bugs, get bugs off of your tomato plants, off of all that stuff. Disinfectwithsniper.com. That's your site. I also want to talk about our friends at Tulip Blooms, tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. I represent this company that I believe sells some of the most luxurious and affordably priced essential oils, body butters, skincare. I'm going to say that they're literally medicinal healing skincare products that are so amazing. This is the velour massaging oil I talk about from my friends at Tulip Blooms. Brock has his own. I have mine, multiple bottles in my house. It's one of those things where your fingernails, your hands get raw and dry in the wintertime, or you're working in the garden and it absolutely shreds your hands. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful product. Everything that I've tried from tulipblooms.shop/Wendy, which is already 10% off. They give us the extra discount. Everything's phenomenal, but now they're offering you an opportunity to put together your favorite things for your mom, for your own gift. I've put together my box, but you can put different things in it. And the more items you put, the bigger the discount. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. The number of you who've already gotten like 4 or 5 of these for your daughters, your daughters-in-law, all of the people in your life. Thank you. Thank you. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. Try the velour massaging oil. It's the most amazing, nourishing thing for hands, feet, dry skin, all of it. I put some of it on my face, my neck. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy.
People throw money.
Uh-oh, why? Do you guys feel sorry for me? Why? $10.
Trump at 17. Oh, to start your campaign fund for when you run for governor or senate the land before time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And AV8 or AH64.
Aviator.
Is that what that means?
To celebrate the defeat of Iranian dictatorship would mean our media would have to admit certain ideologues or ideologies are evil failures. Well, then there's that. Yes, you are correct. But how nice of you to tip me. Thank you. Let's see how you guys are doing Rumble.
Oh, you're going to like it.
2.47 Rumbles. That's pretty good. I'm pretty excited about you guys. I'm going to like what?
The Rumbles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you guys are amazing. Today is great. 180 comments. Let's get you guys talking about something. What should we ask you about?
I didn't see.
Do you believe you will ever hear about this young man who tried to kill the president again? Mm-mm. He's going to be memory hold, vaporized somewhere. No, you'll never hear about him again. After today, that's my thought process. We'll see. Let's come up with a question, Brock. I love to get you guys chatting. Makes me happy. We've got
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they can't separate you from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio Program. Hour number 3 is live and on the clock, wendybellradio.com if you'd like to follow along on the live video stream. You know, I don't expect anybody in the Biden crime family syndicate to be charged, to be held accountable for obviously breaking the law. I don't expect a former president of the United States to be held accountable for his own criminality or his knowledge of a stolen election. I'm not even so sure that Joe Biden knew. In fact, I doubt he did. I think the left probably knew Joe Biden was a threat because he would start talking and they'd be like, where's the Easter Bunny? Stat, go get him. Get him away from the people. Send him somewhere else. They could not let President Biden have a clue in the world that they had cheated and stolen that election for him. It reminds me so much of the show Scandal, doesn't it? It's odd. However, you should not be from another country, come here to America, lie about being an American citizen, and then proceed to, though, create some great grift that you tap into, profit off of, and then stream those profits through your husband and his fake business so that you and he can become rich and live happily ever after. Yeah, I have a real issue with dirtbags. Ilhan Omar is a special slice of scumbag. So there is a discernreport.com article. It's actually linked to one of my favorite writers. His name is Tyler Durden, and he writes for an outfit called Zero Hedge. And he does a dive into Ilhan Omar's husband. What if Ilhan Omar's husband, this Tim Minette guy, what if she's really just kind of married to him so that he could create this fictitious company through which Ilhan Omar's ill-gotten gains from the Feeding Our Futures and all the other Somalia stuff going on in Minnesota could be cycled through that, kind of woven and laundered through that? I don't know. Seems like it. You tell me what you think. Here's the title. Ilhan Omar probe expands into hubby's $30 million of shady deals in Kenya, Dubai, and Somalia. This guy, if he's done this stuff with Ilhan Omar, they are guiltier right now of anything, of something more than President Trump is demonstrably accused of. He's not done any of the stuff that they've thrown at him, and yet Ilhan Omar and her husband can, make millions and millions? House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer is cranking the investigation into Representative Ilhan Omar's husband, Tim Minette, into overdrive, demanding a full accounting of shadowy international business trips and deals that stretch from the Horn of Africa straight into Kenya, Somalia, and the glittering skyscrapers of Dubai. Kind of feels like Hunter, doesn't it? All of his business deals overseas that Joe Biden knew nothing about. Omar's been making strange moves since February after Comer fired off a no-holds-barred letter demanding every document and every communication on Minette's travel and business dealings in Kenya, Somalia, and the UAE. Since then, the story has exploded again with several new twists, stunning twists. Omar quietly amended her 2024 financial disclosure in late March, slashing the reported $30 million fortune down to nearly zero. And then just 9 days later, on April 4th, the California winery central to those valuations was officially, poof, dissolved. Forensic accountants have publicly torn into the revised numbers for major inconsistencies. Well, the February 5th letter by House Oversight Committee Comer ordered Minette, who's the president of something called Rose Lake Capital LLC, sort of like Rosemont Seneca, right? It's sort of weird, sort of similar, and co-owner of the now defunct Est Crew LLC winery to hand over every record related to all of the business, all of the travel in those three countries. The February 19th deadline came and went with no public confirmation that Minette ever complied. Who are you? Well, you're above the law. No one is above the law. Well, apparently Ilhan Omar's, husband is. 9 days. Well, wait a minute. Omar's original 2024 disclosure, which was filed in May of 2025, showed the two firms, Rose Lake Capital LLC and Est Crew LLC Winery, shows the two firms exploding in value from a combined $51,000 in 2023 to as much as $30 million the following year. It's like Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio. Wow. Rose Lake Capital was listed between 5 mil and 25 mil. The winery sat between 1 and 5 million. And then came the late March amendment in which Omar blamed an accountant's error in netting out liabilities. The company's reported net value was wiped to zero. And the couple's total household assets were slashed between $18,000 and $4 and $95,000. 9 days after that amendment, California business records show Est Crew LLC Winery was officially terminated and dissolved. The winery had never owned a vineyard, never had a tasting room or a major production piece of equipment. It produced only tiny batches at a shared custom crush facility, but had no active phone line. It went dark on social media years ago. It was already dogged by investor lawsuits alleging fraud. One Washington, D.C. restaurateur claimed he invested roughly $300,000 in the winery after being promised a 200% return in 18 months, plus a 10% monthly interest fee if late. A separate cannabis-related venture involving Minette's partner ended in a roughly $1.2 million settlement after investigators accused the duo of misappropriating funds. So here you have a guy who's being sued by his former business partners because it was a scam. And Ilhan Omar thinks that she can just slough it off as an accounting error. Well, according to Comer's letter, Rose Lake Capital had marketed itself as a globe-trotting player with deep global networks built from on-the-ground work in more than 80 countries. Wow. Its website, later scrubbed of officer and advisor names, including former diplomats, hyped sustainable investments and solar panel projects across Africa. One partner reportedly received $10,699 business class ticket to Dubai for deal discussions. The firm once claimed to manage $60 billion in assets, an eye-popping figure for a company that, according to earlier disclosures, had less than $1,000 in the bank in 2023. Like, does anybody else smell something totally funky? Right? And you don't need Scooby and Shaggy on the case. It's called common sense. You know what this reminds me of, too? Do you remember that Stacey Abrams-led initiative called Power Forward? Right? It was what the Biden administration reportedly was going to dump a couple $1 billion into on their way out of office. Well, was the Power Forward initiative, what did it have in terms of revenue the year before? $100. Seriously? You're going to give a couple $1 billion to a nonprofit that the year before had $100 in revenue, and we're all supposed to be like, that makes perfect sense. I'm sure she knows a lot about business. What? Look, the shocking, though not so much anymore, lack of attention to detail. They didn't care. She put down on her financial disclosures $30 million, and then they just poof. No winery, no grapes, no website, no storefront, no bottles, no nothing. And you and I are supposed to just walk away and be like, oh, I'm sure it was a coding error or a rounding error. These people are so used to getting away with it. And this is just the stuff that we know of, that they don't even try. They don't show up. They don't respond to subpoenas. They don't answer congressional inquiries. It's like, sorry. And so now Minnesota State, the state representatives, the local people, they're demanding Ilhan Omar get her little hiney into the seat in front of them, coming up pretty lickety split. She decided to be a no-show and a no response to their requests for information. I'm sorry, but when you break laws to come to this country to then defraud our country, and you lie about marrying your brother, you lie about business, you lie about your worth, I'm pretty sure that's a ticket to deportation. Anybody else? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, somebody's been wanting to put a cork in this alien stuff for a while, but did you hear? Another guy with ties to UFOs dies mysteriously. Is that true? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Ilhan Omar. I look forward to that turban being ripped off of her head and her being put on a plane and being taken out of here. Go back to Somalia. Go back to Somalia.
President there.
You should be queen there. Go ahead. Go back. You've trampled the privilege of being an American, and you can suck it in a big, bad way. Ilhan, you filthy dirtbag. How do I really feel? I know it's hard to decipher where I am. Let me tell you about bloodflow7.com. The longer I talk to you about bloodflow7.com and what my experiences have been, I take 2 capsules a day, and inside the capsules is nitric oxide. And nitric oxide works to relax your blood vessels, and so more blood can get through them, right? And when you have more blood flowing to your body, you are less run down. You have more stamina, more strength, more endurance. You feel this infusion of energy that maybe a couple years ago you kind of chalked up to getting older, and you're like, dang it, I just don't have it anymore. I say phooey to that. No, you do have it. It's called bloodflow7.com. This is what it looks like. This is what I take every day, 2 of them on the weekends too. And I will tell you, I've been able to push workouts to a degree I never thought possible. I'm doing modestly aided pull-ups now. I mean, I can't hop up and do it myself or this way, but if I have a little bit of a push, I can get up and down by myself. I've never been able to do that. Have you seen my chicken arms? There's no reason for me to be able to do that. bloodflow7.com/Wendy. It is the #1 product people write me about and say, thank you for bloodflow7.com/Wendy. 30% off. You're like, well, how much would one pay for stamina and stability and strength and all of that? Had to be a lot of money. It's less than $1 a day with our 30% off. bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Oh, by the way, this product, Alpha Gold Male, it's for men. Duh. Get it. Try it. Do 1 bottle. Again, less than $1 a day. Get it. Men. And then email me, wendybellradio@gmail.com. And yes, you can tell me you love me. I understand. It's hard to keep off. I get it. But you're going to be like, oh my gosh, you changed my life. I know. because mine changed. I'm serious. bloodflow7.com/Wendy. In fact, we have a video. We have a little teleconference today with our friend, video conference with our friend who reps Juvenon. So now's our time to ask for freebies. Be like, oh yeah? Brock liked that blood. What did you like? The Nitro XXXL? Seems like you're at a strip club. You're like, I'll take that.
What? It did not have any glitter in it.
No glitter. Glitter.
It was tasty though.
Globe-trotting player with deep global networks built from on-the-ground work in more than 80 countries. And because that didn't sound ridiculous enough, they had to say they had $60 billion in assets. Do you have any idea how much money that is? I don't. No.
I'm doing this for Trump.
No. Suck it, Tim. Suck it, Ilhan. Go away. Let's have a go-away party.
This will piss him off.
Program. If you were not dancing, we need to have a serious talk. Okay. That was your cue to dance. So this UFO, unidentified aerial phenomena, all of this stuff, you're not supposed to talk about that. Scientists are dying left and right. No, they're not. I'm sure it's all a coincidence. Right. Well, there's this. So coming up in the next half hour, we're going to open up the door to another death. And I'm sorry, I'm not a big coincidence girl. I'm just not. Okay. Like I said, 1's terrible. 2 is like, wow, maybe that's like, 3 was like a trend. And then 15 is, ladies and gentlemen, you've got a national security nightmare on your hands. So I want to read this to you. It's from an outlet called Indy100.com. UFO hunter claims a giant spacecraft is being hidden under a major landmark. Okay, the sooner you all come to grips with what's going on, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out in the weeks, months ahead, I would presume. We're going to learn a lot about life from other places because it exists. And it's been here on Earth for a while. And here in America, there's lots of proof. Let me read this to you. A UFO hunter claims that there is a huge spaceship hidden beneath one of the world's major landmarks because it is too big to move. Ross Coulthart, an investigative journalist and UFO expert, said a non-human spacecraft, as opposed to all the human spacecraft out there that we know that's flying around, right? A non-human spacecraft is being stashed beneath a purpose-built structure, though he won't tell us where it is. Well, it's in North Korea. Sorry, I don't want to blow the whistle, but I just did. Speaking in an interview, he said some of these objects are not capable of being moved because they're just too bloody big. I know exactly where it is. He says, I thought it was baloney too when I heard about it, but it exists. Coulthart was previously a reporter on the news and current affairs program 60 Minutes on Channel 9 in Australia. He's since gone on to write a number of books, including In Plain Sight, an investigation into UFOs and impossible science. The UFO hunter community response to his claims has been a mixture of disbelief and desperation to find out where the landmark is. Now, some people think, I said North Korea, it's South Korea. Some people think it's South Korea. Others think it's likely to be somewhere on a military base somewhere. Well, I want you to hear from this fellow now. Ross Coulthart says the U.S. military is most assuredly involved. And the article I just read, by the way, which was from 2023, has been updated quite a bit. Here is your UFO hunter, Ross Coulthard.
And easily, I'm going to say that the case is an interesting one. It has nothing to do with the large UFO that I've talked about previously, but it's certainly a fascinating case. And completely independent of both cases, I am aware of a US retrieval team that has gone into North Korea to retrieve non-human technology. Let's cause some mischief here.
You're going
Yes,
for it.
this has happened. There have been retrievals of purported non-human technology from North Korea by a US Special Forces team. Suck on that.
Okay, so it is North Korea, he says. And so whatever he was being tight-lipped about back in 2023, obviously the gloves are off. The lid has opened on this, and we have to honestly have conversations. And he's like, look, U.S. Special Forces went to North Korea to retrieve information about, obviously, the propulsion system of this alien spacecraft that is so big. They had to build a building around it in order to study it. So look, anybody out there who's like, oh, this UFO talk, it's so weird. These people have lost their bananas. No, we've just been lied to for the better part of 80 years. And we must now start asking what's been going on with now what I count as 15 missing or dead UFO related scientists. What's going on? Well, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, let's go there. A UFO whistleblower dies of an accidental overdose days before testifying before the House. Huh. Do you believe it?
I want to know what's under Mount Rushmore.
I want to know what's under the pyramids. Why? What do you think is under Mount Rushmore?
I don't know.
Why are people talking about what's under Mount Rushmore?
No,
oh, you're just talking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, why do we care what you think? I'm kidding. Come on, that was good. My son Toolsy, he strongly believes that the pyramids are a lot more than we think they are, and that it wasn't.
Why do we care what Toolsy thinks?
We don't.
Oh.
I'm not saying that we do. I'm just saying, I don't know. Let me tell you guys about Morgain's Fitness, MORGAINZ fitness.com. This is where you can get your body back in 3 months, or at least get the process started. I think, and I have felt fatty bobalati before, and it's terrible. I've been a size 12, and that's a lot of weight on me. And I remember feeling, you just feel everything. And sometimes you're like, I don't know how to jumpstart this process. Like, what am I missing? Why is it so hard for me? And having somebody who has also been heavy, Kelly, in her past, who's now a bodybuilder and understands the process of getting from A to B. You don't have to become a bodybuilder to get your abs back. And she'll teach you. It's called 90 Ignite, 90 days. You give her 90 days. She gives you the food, the exercise, and all the tools that you need. And then you do the work. It works. It works. Morgainsfitness.com, MORGAINZ fitness.com. If you live in Western PA, why not just go see her at her Somerset, Cambria or Somerset County locations? Morgainsfitness.com. I personally know the U.S. military is involved. That's Ross Coulthard.
Wayne, I agree with Wayne.
Oh.
Wayne said, "What's up, Canada?" Wayne said,
Hey, Wayne.
"Why aren't they fighting over Antarctica?"
Hmm.
There's something there.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
There's something there.
And I would not also doubt Greenland.
I'm saying Antarctica first. I'm agreeing with Wayne.
Wayne, give me some. What do you think is there, babe? Wayne's a good Wayne's a good tinfoil hat rabbit holer, but he's also extraordinarily knowledgeable.
There's a reason nobody's. I'm another thing. It's what they don't tell you is what you really want to know, right? Like,
So they're talking about North Korea, but what we really want to
never
be
hear
talking about.
Antarctica, but we go study the icebergs and drill and down there for the ice and how old it. What you talking about, Willis? It's
Hi,
like
Adrasi. Hi, babe. Liberty 12,754. Lots of ice. Yes, I agree, but there's more. There is more. I want to tell you quickly before I run out of time how strongly I feel about the Simkovich Concussion Institute and how much I encourage you all over this country, wherever you're watching, to jot down this man's number and to bookmark it somewhere. Put it in your phone. Put it on a sticky note on your computer, however it is that you do reminders. Have it forever because you might need it. And when you do, when you have a traumatic brain injury, you suffer from post-traumatic stress, a concussion, you have something that's going on, an accident, an injury. We know now with essential tremor, Dr. Simkovich can greatly help. People who have terrible headaches, Dr. Simkovich can help. 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700, Simkovich, concussioninstitute.com. It's just, we've watched too many miracles for it to be coincidence. It's science, and Dr. Simkovich has it and knows it and uses it and heals you. And I think he's darling. So,
hey, do you still have the picture of you with the alien belly?
I don't know. Why?
Some people are saying they can't believe you were 12. You've never seen the.
Oh, you mean when I was pregnant?
Yeah, with the alien babies.
It's very graphic. I don't know if people want to see that. You guys really want to see that? Let's see. How do I get to years?
I mean, I'm surprised it was only at 12.
What? That's rude. Years. That would have been the twins.
This is just when she eats.
I was 2008.
That's pre-meal.
Shut up.
That's post-meal.
This is just obscene.
Mine, I'm stuck in the constant post-meal.
This was with twins. So I'm only 6 months pregnant here. I'm sorry, it's graphic. Will you love me anyway?
It's a huge good. Look at that. Aliens. They were aliens.
So I've seen size 12.
Fatty Boba
I've seen size 12.
Was that the 12 donut hole? Box of donut holes?
No. I learned I was Michael. I'm like, clearly they're munchkins, so I can have 25 of them. That's good for me. That's where big bottom girl comes in. Fat bottom girl.
Yeah.
Made by Duncan.
That's a huge. They were alien babies. Just saying.
They were tiny too.
Yeah.
Combined, it was. Program. Now, I will absolutely agree that there are sometimes similarities in cases that sound very similar. And we can see kind of patterns, couple people, couple things. When it's 14 or 15 people who are either dead or who have disappeared, who are all connected to NASA, who are all connected to anti-gravity propulsion and reverse engineering of stuff, right? You're kind of like, maybe we should talk a little bit more deeply about this. Well, the New York Post put out an article over the weekend. I want to read this to you because added to the list, would-be UFO whistleblower died of accidental drug overdose after agreeing to testify to Congress. That's odd, don't you think? An Air Force veteran who agreed to testify before Congress about secret government UFO programs. Secret government UFO programs. Died just months before the hearings of an accidental drug overdose. It was a poorly written sentence. It was all convoluted, but you know what I'm saying. He died right before he was supposed to talk to Congress about what he knew. His name was Matthew James Sullivan. He was 39. He was from Falls Church, Virginia. And he died at his home. Now, this happened almost 2 years ago, May 12th, 2024. What killed him? Well, it was a lethal mix of alcohol, alprazolam. It's a bunch of stuff he shouldn't have, well, maybe he should or shouldn't have been taking, according to the Northern District Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. Alprazolam is generic Xanax. So it's an anti-anxiety medication. This other drug he was taking is a powerful prescription muscle relaxant that works on the central nervous system. This one drug is for children used to treat anxiety and bedwetting. Why would he be taking a drug meant for children who have a hard time not wetting the bed? It seems weird. Does it seem weird? Anti-anxiety, anti-bedwetting, serious muscle relaxer. Well, the mysterious death is of grave concern to Representative Eric Burlinson. He's the congressman from Missouri, who referred the matter to investigation to the FBI due to implications for national security, according to a letter obtained by the New York Post. Mr. Sullivan's death was a local Virginia medical examiner case, and the manner and the circumstances of his death raised substantial questions as he was preparing to provide testimony to Congress. The April 16th letter addressed to FBI Director Kash Patel from the congressman read, the sudden and suspicious circumstances surrounding his death raised significant concerns about potential foul play and the safety of other individuals in this matter. The FBI indicated in a statement that Sullivan's death could be under investigation along with the dozen other missing or dead U.S. scientists. While we do not comment on specific incidents, the FBI is spearheading the effort to look for connections into the missing and deceased scientists. Well, I don't know about you guys. I'm no rocket scientist, but let me give you a suspected link to all these people. They were all working on stuff involving aliens, UFO, spacecraft, propulsion, anti-gravity, reverse technology, all this stuff. And who wouldn't want that information to come out? I'm going to go with a lot of different industries. I'm going to go with probably anything that revolves around gasoline or oil to fuel stuff. Oh, I don't know, any plane, any truck, any car, anything. Can you imagine if there's technology out there where you could get where you're going by going like bonk with your head, and there you go like you're in the Jetsons instead of loading up the kids and driving halfway across the country on the turnpike? Yeah, a lot of people might not want that to come out. Just saying. So who's this guy Sullivan? Well, he earned a Bronze Star for valor in Operation Enduring Freedom. He later worked for the Air Force Intelligence Agency, the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, and the National Security Agency, according to his obituary. Sullivan held the burden that a select few in the nation have of truly understanding what's going on. Retired Major General David Abba, who served as director of special programs and later as the director of the Department of Defense Special Access Program, said at the funeral. Why would he say that this young man held the burden that a select few in this nation have of truly understanding what's going on. Unless what's going on was what's connecting all of these scientists' disappearances and deaths. Bing, 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 bing. It's almost like my common sense is coming through. It's weird. Sullivan was also part of a so-called legacy UFO program, the U.S. government's crash retrieval program that has operated for decades in the shadows across several executive branch agencies, sources told the Post. Okay, so everybody out there who's like, alien spacecraft crashing here on the Earth, no, that's not possible. Well, hello. Apparently, it's been going on for a while, decades, in some so-called legacy UFO program. Sullivan had personally seen UFOs in the federal government's possession. Is that part of the burden that he had? And would have exposed the legacy program at the congressional hearing in November 2024, according to sources. Other UFO whistleblowers have also faced threats to their safety after coming forward with world-shattering information. David Grush, an Air Force and Intel community veteran, who testified to Congress in 2023 that the U.S. was in possession of UFOs and non-human biologics, wrote a letter in May 2022 to the intelligence community officer of Inspector General, claiming he faced harsh reprisals after reporting evidence of UFOs. He further claimed that he received credible death threats before his revelations to the American public. Well, and it's funny because we have Dave Grush right now. He says the truth is well known. It has to come out. There's a reason all of these people are vanishing or dying, and it's because somebody really wants all of this to stay quiet. Here's Dave Grush. He is an U.S. Air Force officer and intelligence official who became well known for alleging that the U.S. government had secret UFO crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs. This is what he said recently.
There's truly anomalous signatures in the skies. The U.S. government understands it represents a form of sentient non-human intelligence. I know that sounds very Star Trek, a la, Gene Roddenberry and Rod's dad's sci-fi series, but it is true. And I want, the American public to be comforted that the universe is teeming with life, it seems, and readily, able to be explored. And the U.S. government does have a lot of information that I think will inspire Gen Alpha and Gen Z and the American populace at large. And it will be a new era. It'll be a little uncomfortable. There'll be some truths that be a hard pill to swallow, but I think it's ultimately a good thing to get this out there. And I think the people of the world and the American public will be very happy to understand their place in the universe, so to speak, without sounding too much like Carl Sagan.
Understanding your place in the environment. That yes, indeed, there is a huge program. As I've told you, it's a National Archives. Some of it's been declassified. But this gentleman is saying, look, I've been threatened for exposing this stuff. Why is he still alive? I have to ask. I don't know. Why is it certain people? Were they all talking about? Do you guys get the idea that you're ever going to get conclusion on that? Considering they're still looking for Nancy Guthrie? I mean, honestly, I have to plug in, was Nancy Guthrie or her family involved at all in UAPs, UFOs, any of this stuff? Because literally, that would be more plausible than anything else that we've been given by the authorities about the missing 84-year-old woman. And so you and I are going to be asked to, coming up, get very comfortable becoming uncomfortable. How uncomfortable are you ready to be? What could they possibly say to us that is going to be shocking? I don't know. That maybe there's alien life that can morph into looking like you and like me. We could be walking down the street. Shoot, I just saw Jamie Raskin on the other night. He's got something weird with his eye. He looked like a freaking lizard. I can see him being an alien. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, yeah, I could probably see that. But how do you get something this sensitive that has a lot of potential alarm to it? I mean, it's the war of the worlds. right? It's the war. There's people here. They're among us. Now, look, I don't know what's going on, but I do know that you shouldn't be killed for it. I do know that you shouldn't lose your life. I do know that it's extraordinarily unusual for some of the brightest people connected to these programs, government programs, for them to leave their homes and leave their glasses behind. Their glasses, they can't see. They leave their glasses behind. They leave their phones behind. And then they just poof, vanish, and you are not supposed to ask any questions. This president has a lot on his plate. You got Iran fooling around, fiddling around, fudging around with having anybody show up for any kind of negotiations. They're not going to make any kind of a deal. You've got that war to deal with. You've got people trying to kill this president and anybody else around him, plus exposing all of the fraud and the waste and the abuse, exposing the 2020 election. At what point are you and I going to have an honest conversation about COVID? Do you think that'll ever happen? Or will they protect the medical community and research and whatnot, science, much more than they've protected space and exploration? I don't know. I just know that I want to know. I want to know all of it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it's truly a random act of, I don't know, journalism, honesty among a journalist. I don't know. Jonathan Karl said something yesterday. And I want you to hear what he had to say. He's one of the hacks from ABC News. And he got a call from the President of the United States shortly after the White House Correspondents Association shooting. I want you to hear from his mouth what this president is really all about next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I don't know. Do you really think this guy took a lethal mix of Xanax, something for muscle relaxing, and bedwetting all at once? It sounds like the bedwetting drug is the one that could be the pivotal deal breaker. Because I said, could adults take child bedwetting? And they're like, it's dangerous.
Can we go back to Scandal?
Oh, yeah.
You can't tell me you haven't seen Huck go in and
what?
Inject things to make it look natural. I could see it.
Oh, what? Natural deaths?
Yeah.
Oh, so like they injected his body with this or that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. Well, and here's the thing.
If you're not watching Scandal, you have to.
And if you're expected to take the word of a medical examiner, I'm sorry, I have no confidence in those people either. Whether that's fair or not. We saw what they did with the COVID death certificates. So you crash your motorcycle on the highway and you die. And they put it down as a COVID death. And then they changed the parameters for how you record death so that COVID deaths were more numerous. So you would do what? Get the shot. And then the shot kills people. And you're not supposed to talk about that, remember? Shh. Ron Johnson's badass, I'm just going to say. Totally badass.
Season 2 of Scandal is good. So it's during season 2. $271, you guys are knocking it out of the park.
Wow.
Huck wasn't always a fixer.
He had a dark past, doesn't
Yeah.
he? I don't remember it.
Yeah. He was B613.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was. It was some.
Start watching. You know what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have few other things going on in my life than you do. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try to.
It's not
listen
like
a
you're
little bit
on the
more.
roof. You're just hearing it. Put your headphones in and watch.
It's not like you're on the
You're not doing the work. You're just complaining about the work.
I'm not complaining. I was cooking dinner. I don't know. You can go home and eat whatever.
Put it on your. You can use my iPad. You can set it right there and watch while you're cooking.
Why are you trying to get me to do what you're doing?
So then I can commiserate.
Oh, commiserate with what?
Scandal.
Why are you commiserating with anything? It's a great show. That's what I was talking about right there. Whatevs. 3.0 Rumbles.
No.
I know it's not going to happen, but if you're watching
It's a
after the
strong
fact,
showing.
you can rumble still, and it counts.
Yeah, it does.
It counts. Always rumble. Always rumble.
Just do it.
Don't tell people.
Feels good.
Wendy Bell radio program. I want to play this audio soundbite for you of Jonathan Karl regarding the shooting, the uncertainty, the danger of the White House Correspondents Association dinner, the shooting there. But before I do, this just popped up on my news feed on X. A&E's former Meet the Press host, Chuck Todd, who's been sacked along with other journalists, he put out this comment. I'm not going to any more events where Trump is at them. I don't feel safe. Imagine how he feels, Chuck. Imagine how he feels in the environment than you and so many other suck members of the media have created. This storyline, the fictitious everything, the go get him now for whatever reason, get him now mentality. You lied to the American people for years, Chuck. I think it's hilarious that you think anybody gives a big, fat, juicy rip about what you think. You're everything that's wrong about media, Chuck. And now you're desperate for clicks or what have you because you think that you're a podcaster now, but nobody liked you before when you were insulated by NBC. And now you're learning it like Don Lemon, right? Like how many others? Stop it. You created this. We will never trust you, Chuck. I personally will never, ever believe a dang thing that you say. Anyway, I feel much better about that. Thanks for letting me get that off my chest. Let me tell you what Jonathan Karl, what are you going to say something, Brock? You were.
No, I just don't understand why guys like Don Lemon and Chuck Todd need to tweet or go online to tell you what they're not going to do. Why do I care?
Why did the last several shooters have to write detailed manifestos? Why do you have to do that? I don't know. It's kooky. It's craven. It's desperate. It's insecure. It's, God, I need somebody to pay attention to me. I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe because I'm such a star. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about Jonathan Karl. He says, look, this is a great line. He's like, look, I got a phone call from the president hours after the shooting at the White House Correspondents' dinner, whatever. This is what he says happened. This is your president. This is the real guy, not the person that Chuck Todd wants you to believe.
John, your phone rang early this morning. Yeah, my phone rang shortly after 7 a.m. My landline, George, actually a number that few people call, and it was President Trump calling. He said at first he was calling to see if I was okay with what happened last night. Are you okay? And then he reiterated many of the things he said in his press conference last night, emphasizing the unity that he felt in that moment, that he felt at the dinner before the shooting and certainly after with the people who reached out to him. And he said absolutely, and he was quite firm about this, that dinner must be rescheduled. It must be rescheduled. He knows that I was a former president of the White House Correspondents Association and had worked with him on a dinner that never actually happened back during COVID. And he was saying, we've got to get this dinner back on. It has to happen.
The only reason I can imagine that President Trump would be eager to be in the room with the majority liberal media personalities, media folk, is to legitimately make some kind of a peace deal for the betterment of America. You know, imagine if instead of a firefighter in Corey Comparator at the Butler Farm Show complex, that Thomas Crook's bullets killed a prominent member of the media. Would they take it seriously then, what it's like to live in danger and in the crosshairs? Thank God it didn't happen, but can you imagine if that guy had managed to get into that ballroom, if he hadn't been neutralized by Secret Service? What if he had taken out a member of the media? Would it wake them up? Would that be the moment when they realize that their rhetoric, their propaganda, their fake news, their agenda is dangerous? I don't know. But I know this president, he wants it to continue, and he wants that dinner held within the next 4 weeks. I'm sure we'll find out why soon enough. It's great to be with you here on the Wendy Bell radio program, you guys. You have become my family, second family, and I love sharing time with you. WendyBellRadio.com. Join us. Come back on the live video stream tomorrow and bring a friend. Love you. Peace.